Scientia 2021 is held as part of a celebration of our 72nd Republic Day. The objective of this exhibition is to inculcate scientific attitude and research-mindedness in young minds. It encourages students to participate in activities, understand the cognitive, affective, and psychomotor aspect of the task. Our students have shown their creative and innovative talents. They have made still models, working models, collections, and charts to present these topics. The school principal, teachers, and parents are the backbone and support in encouraging the students to be a part of this unique exhibition. I congratulate Bethany Academy senior students and staff for taking such an initiative to create a unique event. Let us recall the true heroes of India who sacrificed their lives to give us freedom. Jai Hind.
Hi, I'm Joanna Miriam Jacob of Class 9A. Since we're all in the middle of a global pandemic, we are conducting a virtual science exhibition based on the topic environment. The students of Class 9A will be presenting working and still models and also be addressing various issues that the environment faces and how we can tackle them together, and also ways to conserve the environment as a whole, ultimately making the earth a cleaner, greener, and safer place for us all in the long run. So let's all get down.
Hi all, I am Jinsa Ilapille from class 9. Today I am going to show you a still model about our ecosystem. So first of all, let me tell you about our ecosystem. Our ecosystem is a self-contained area in which different type of organisms live in it. So the word ecosystem is taken from a Greek word oikos, which means a house. So let us go to our model. So this is my model about ecosystem. I have a I had made a water body, then an aquatic creature, then aquatic mammal, then an animal which lives in water and also in land, then some wild animal, then a cave, then some trees. Okay, I hope you all enjoyed my model. So this is my model about our ecosystem. Thank you.
Hello guys, I'm Leia Maria Marquez of class 9. Today I'm going to show the working model of photosynthesis, and this is the working model of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a biological process utilized by all green plants to synthesize their own nutrition. And it's the process by which plants, some bacteria and some protistants use the energy from sunlight to produce sugar, which cellular respiration converts into ATP, the fuel used by all living things. And for the process of photosynthesis, we get solar energy, water and carbon dioxide. The byproduct of photosynthesis is oxygen. It's the significance of photosynthesis. During photosynthesis, the oxygen gas is liberted out into the environment and is utilized by humans, animals and other living organisms during the process of respiration. What is the purpose of photosynthesis? The main purpose of photosynthesis is to convert radiant energy from the sun into chemical energy that can be used for food. Why is photosynthesis important? Photosynthesis is important to living organisms because it is the number one source of oxygen in the atmosphere. How photosynthesis affects our environment? In photosynthesis, plants constantly absorb and release the atmospheric gases in the way that converts sugar into food. Carbon dioxide goes into the plant cells and oxygen comes out. Without sunlight and plants, our earth would become an inhospitable place, unable to support air, breathing animals and humans. It's very important to protect and grow plants on the earth so that humans and animals' life can exist on the earth with the help of oxygen released from the plants. So plant a tree whenever and wherever possible, thus by protecting our environment as well. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Sarit Sudhi of class 9A. Here I am going to say something about current environmental problems. Our environment is constantly changing. Environmental issues are defined as problems with the planet systems that have developed as a result of human interference or mistreatment of the planet. Our planet is poised on the brink of severe environmental crisis. We are in the state of planetary emergency with environmental problems around us. There are 6 major current environmental problems. First one, pollution. There are 7 key types of pollution like air, water, soil, noise, radioactive light and thermal. And these are primary causes which affect our environment in many ways. Pollution of air, water and soil requires millions of years to recoup. Water pollution is caused by acid rain, urban runoff. Air pollution is caused by various gases and toxins released by industries. Soil pollution is caused by industrial waste. To avoid pollution, eliminate fireplace and wood stove and reduce number of trips in your cars. Second one, ozone layer depletion. The depletion of the crucial ozone layer of the atmosphere is attributed to pollution caused by CFCs. The ozone layer is valuable because it prevents harmful UV radiations from reaching the earth. Its solution is to avoid using pesticides, chemicals and shift to natural methods and also avoid using greenhouse gases in vehicles. Third one, overpopulation. The population of the planet causes shortage of resources like water, fuel and food. Intensive agriculture practiced to produce more food damage the environment. To avoid overpopulation, better education, knowledge of sex education, making people aware of family planning. Fourth one, global warming. Global warming are the result of human practices like emission of greenhouse gases, which cause natural disasters that including flooding, melting of polar ice caps and rising sea level. Its solution is improvements to energy sufficiency and protecting the forest. Fifth one, deforestation. Deforestation simply means clearing of green cover and make that land available for residential, industrial and commercial purposes. To avoid deforestation, plant more trees and stop cutting too much trees in the forest. Sixth one, climate change. It occurs due to rising global warming, which happens due to rising temperature of the atmosphere by burning fuels and release of harmful gases by industries. Its solution is waste management and recycling and tropical forest restoration. Hope you all understood my explanation. Thank you.
Hi friends, I am Krista Titus of class 9. Here I am going to tell you about environmental degradation, eco-friendly manufacturing and eco-friendly packaging. Environmental degradation. It is the disintegration of the earth or the environment through consumption of assets. It occurs when the Earth's natural resources are depleted and the environment is compromised in the form of extinction of species, pollution in air, water, soil, and rapid growth in population. The efforts to counteract this problem include environmental protection and environmental resources management. Next, what are the causes for environmental degradation? They include land disturbance, overpopulation, rapid deforestation, landfills, unplanned urbanization, pollution, waste production, illegal dumping, plastic pollution, and resource depletion. Environmental degradation has various impacts on human health, and also it leads to the loss of biodiversity, depletion of ozone layer, loss for tourism industry, and economic impact. Next, what are the solutions that we can take against environmental degradation? So we should stop deforestation, high fines for illegal dumping, reduce consumption levels, reduce waste production, refrain from plastic packaging, control over agriculture pollution, construct afforestation campaign, and conserve energy. Eco-friendly manufacturing. It protects the planet from exploitation and conserves natural resources. The products are made from sustainable materials while waste is reduced through manufacturing, reuse, and recycle. It reduces environmental pollution in manufacturing sectors. It helps the factories to produce goods using the most environmentally friendly method possible. An eco-friendly process is dependent on how and what a factory produces. Next, the steps include in the eco-friendly manufacturing. They are energy audit, renewable energy, waste reduction, and conserve water. Eco-friendly packaging. Eco-friendly packaging is easily recycled and is safe for the individuals and the environment. It makes use of renewable energy and uses as much renewable or recycled materials as possible. It causes less damage to the environment than other types of packaging due to falling into one of three possible categories. It can be reused, it can be recycled, and it's biodegradable. Next, we can see eco-friendly packaging materials. They are biodegradable plastic, cardboard, and biodegradable plastic bag, etc. So these are eco-friendly packaging materials because they can be reused, recycled, or they may naturally decompose. Why we should use environmentally friendly packaging? Looking out for the future of our environment is the primary reason to use environmentally friendly packaging. We should all be aware of the impact of our actions on the environment around us and take some responsibility for those actions. Consumers are embracing green and sustainable practices, and some research has even shown that a move to sustainable packaging can generate more sales. So let's try our best to use eco-friendly packaging materials to protect our Mother Earth.
Respected parents, teachers, and my dear friends, I am Hridya Susan Santosh of class 9A. Today I am going to explain the process of water cycle. Let's see the still model of water cycle. The water cycle describes how water evaporates from the surface of the earth, cools and condenses into rain or snow in clouds, falls again to the surface as precipitation. The cycling of water in and out of the atmosphere is a significant aspect of weather patterns on Earth. How water cycle helps our environment? The water cycle involves the exchange of energy which leads to temperature changes. When water evaporates from the surface of the earth, it takes up energy from its surrounding and cools the environment. When it condenses, it releases energy and warms the environment. This heat exchanges influences climate. Why is water cycle important? The water cycle is important because it is how water reaches plants, animals and us. Besides providing people, animals and plants with water, it also moves things like nutrients, sediments, pathogens in and out of the aquatic ecosystem. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I'm Anamika Anasanal of class 9. Today I'm going to show you a working model of water pollution. So, water pollution is caused by the contamination of water bodies, usually as a result of humans. There are several causes in water pollution. They are landfill leakages, industrial activities and also sewage leakages. So, let me show you my model. We can see the clean and clear water out here, and we can see that the clean and clear water is being polluted by the industrial activities, and also from the houses beside it. This shows a clear picture of water pollution.
Hello everyone, I am Nandana Girish of class 9A. Today I am going to show you the working model of rainwater harvesting. Rainwater harvesting is a technology that is used to collect and store rainwater for our daily uses. The main purpose of rainwater harvesting is to collect and store rainwater for throughout the year to meet the need of extra expenditure. Let's see our model. Firstly, we have a house, and on top of the house we have a collection tank. And when it rains, water gets collected in the collection tank. And through a pipe, water flows from the collection tank towards the filtration tank. Gravel, charcoal, sand are the different materials used in the collection tank to the filtration of water. And after filtration is done, water now flows from the filtration tank towards the well. And from the well, we can use it for our daily purposes like washing clothes, drinking, cooking, etc. Okay, now let's see how it functions. Yes, now from the collection tank, water is now flowing to the filtration tank. Now, from the filtration tank, water is now getting filled in the well. Yes. Yes, now the water is filled right. Now we can use it for our daily purposes like washing clothes, drinking, etc. as I told before. The main purpose of rainwater harvesting is to save water. I hope you all understood how it works. Thank you.
Hi friends, I'm Irene Susan Bobby of class 9A. This is a still model of air pollution and I would like to tell you something about air pollution. Air pollution is one of the biggest challenges facing by both human beings and environment. It has become an environmental issue affecting human beings all over the world. Let's have a look on the still model to understand the basic causes of air pollution. Emission of smoke and dust particles from air vehicles, huge emission of harmful toxic gases from industries and factories, and emission of gases and dust particles from vehicles and motor vehicles are the basic causes of air pollution. Some other causes of air pollution includes volcanic eruption, wildfire, construction, burning of garbage waste, demolition and burning of fossil fuels. Air pollution has several bad effects. Air pollution affects human health very badly and causes serious health issue which includes lung cancers. Air pollution affects wildlife and forest very badly. It leads to the extinction of animals and migration of various birds. The effect of air pollution on our environment is very bad and it is uncountable. We are living in a world of pollution. We should try our best to avoid air pollution. Let's check out some measures that we can do to reduce air pollution. Using public transports, turning off lights and fans when not in use, following the method of recycling, reusing and reducing, saying no to plastic bags, reduction of forest fires and smoking, using of fans instead of air conditioners, using of filters for chimneys in homes and restaurants, avoid of usage of crackers during festivals and other occasions, avoid using of products with chemicals and implementation of afforestation. As students, it is our responsibility to try our best to avoid air pollution. Common people and children are not aware about air pollution, its causes and harmful effects. Let's spread awareness about air pollution. Friends, let's join our hands to prevent air pollution for a healthy tomorrow. Thank you.
Hey guys, I'm Anayra. This is Josh from class 9 and today I'm going to tell you some things about water pollution and this model which represents water pollution. Here there are two factories throwing out junk into the water which leads to water pollution. There is also a land dump here. Research says that around 70% of industrial waste is dumped into water. Water pollution occurs when harmful substances like chemicals or microorganisms contaminate into a stream, a river, or any other water body, degrading water quality and making it toxic to humans or the environment. Water pollution is the introduction of harmful substances into the water. Water pollution causes a lot of health problems and diseases such as cholera, typhoid, and so on. It causes a destruction of aquatic flora and fauna. It is very harmful for the environment. People who wash their clothes in or bath in rivers, lakes, or ponds are causing water pollution. Some people who throw garbage into the water also cause water pollution. If such habits are restricted, water pollution could be reduced. Stop polluting and save the environment. Thank you.
Everyone, I'm Shreya Srigama of class 9. Today, I'm going to discuss about pollution. The introduction of harmful waste materials into the environment is known as pollution. These waste materials is known as pollutants. Now, pollution affects the ecosystem of the planet and causes discomfort to almost every living being on the planet. It is the result of the ever-increasing pollution that the ozone layer, which prevents us from ultraviolet radiation, is being depleted. Recent rise in temperature of many countries is also due to pollution. Now, there are four main types of pollution: air pollution, land pollution, water pollution, and noise pollution. Let's discuss about air pollution. Air pollution. Air pollution is the contamination of the air in the atmosphere that is important for every living being on the planet to sustain life. The common air pollutants include smoke and harmful gases which is emitted from the industries. Now, there are some ill effects of air pollution. Air pollution causes depletion of the protective layer of ozone which prevents us from the ultraviolet radiation. It may also cause many respiratory problems such as asthma, lung and heart diseases. Air pollution also affects the cardiovascular system. Now, there are some ways to prevent air pollution. Since some of the reasons of air pollution are natural, there is hardly any sort of possible human control. But for the human caused pollution, one of the finest ways to stop air pollution is to walk more rather than driving cars because the emission from them is the most important cause for air pollution. Now, we'll discuss about water pollution. Water is one of the most important natural resources on the planet, which is one of the necessary elements to sustain life on Earth. Addition of harmful products to water which make it unusable is known as water pollution. Now, there are some ill effects of water pollution. 40% of death globally are accounted for water pollution. Polluted water affects the flora and the fauna of the sea organisms, and which is consumed by humans causes harmful diseases such as jaundice, cholera and typhoid. Now, there are some ways to prevent water pollution. As such, there are no ways to ensure to prevent water pollution. The most effective way to prevent water pollution is to generate consciousness among the masses and to educate them about the possible ways to prevent pollution. Now, we'll discuss about noise pollution. It is the excessive cacophony in the environment primarily due to sounds created by machines. It is generally caused by loudspeakers, microphones, loud music, noise from industries, etc. Now, there are some ill effects of noise pollution. The main problem that noise pollution causes is that it affects the physiological and psychological health of an individual who is exposed to excessive sound. Sometimes it can also cause deafness. Now, there are some ways to prevent noise pollution. Again, legislation can be made from the government to reduce noise pollution. Also, creation of airports and bus stands away from residential areas can also prevent noise pollution. Now, we'll discuss about land pollution. Degrading of the earth's surface by improper commercial, industrial and agricultural waste is known as land pollution. Dumping of e-waste and other industrial waste into the land causes land pollution. Now, there are some ill effects of land pollution. The agricultural capability of the soil gets affected as a result of land pollution, making it infertile and unusable for farming purposes. How to prevent land pollution? In order to prevent land pollution, individuals should become more focused on buying biodegradable products, and the products can also be recycled. Now, in conclusion, it would be safe to say that pollution is very important to be controlled if life is intended to sustain in the planet. It may be in different forms, but if the masses can properly informed and educated along with strict legislation, pollution can be controlled. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Joanna Miriam Jacob of Class 9A. I have here before you a working model of a wastewater treatment plant. Wastewater is full of contaminants and other bacteria and other microorganisms which make it harmful. Its treatment aims at reducing the contaminant level in the water and making them into more acceptable levels that it can be safely discharged back into the environment. There are two basic stages in the purification of wastewater. They are primary stage and secondary stage. In the primary stage, the solids are allowed to settle and then they are removed from the wastewater. And the secondary stage, biological processes are used to further purify it. Here are the various stages the wastewater goes through. So the first is screening, and then the grit and sand removal, sedimentation, secondary treatment, and tertiary treatment. And then water, the purified water is released back into the environment. So the first part is screening. As the wastewater enters a plant for treatment, it flows through the screen which removes large floating objects from the wastewater. The floating objects are removed by sequential filtration. And next is the grit and sand removal. After sewage has been screened, it passes to a chamber where sand and small stones settle at the bottom. The solids that settle from the primary sludge and the supernatant forms the effluent, which is taken for sedimentation. Sedimentation. After screening is completed and the grit has been removed, sewage still contains organic and inorganic matter and other suspended solids which can be removed in a sedimentation tank. When the speed of flow is reduced, the particles will gradually sink into the bottom and a mass of solids called biosolids or sludge is formed. Secondary treatment. The primary effluent is passed into a large aeration tank where air and seed sludge is mixed together, and it fuels the growth of bacteria or flocs which consume the remaining organic matter. This significantly reduces BOD or biochemical oxygen demand, is the amount of dissolved oxygen needed by the aerobic biological organisms which break down organic material present in a given water sample at a certain temperature over a specific time period. The greater the BOD of wastewater, the more is its polluting potential. Tertiary treatment. It removes up to 99% of impurities from wastewater and makes its quality close to that of drinking water. So this treated water is sent back into the environment for various purposes. You can see the water which is coming out of it. So this is how a wastewater treatment plant works. I hope you understood it. Thank you.
Manorama News said, unseasonal rain made everything untracked. Mango trees are searching for flowering seasons, and so on. Good morning all. I'm Marie Jacob of class 9, standing here to present my points and views about climatic changes and its effects on our environment through this chart. Dear all, recent days everyone is concerned about our environment and related problems because of its change and abnormal behavior. Do you ever know rain or Tulam rain? On January 2nd week, right now it's going on, and our World Meteorological Department survey took that the average temperature on Earth will rise with some degrees and sea level will rise at 30 centimeters. By the end of this century, the whole world is concerned about that our planet is getting warmer and warmer since the mid of 1990. But it's getting worse nowadays. Take a minute and ask, who all are blamed for our climatic changes? Do we accuse China, the first largest producer of carbon dioxide, or America, the second largest producer of greenhouse gases? Let's go through this chart and see some causes, consequences, effects and solutions for these all climatic change problems. The two causes are direct and indirect causes. First of all, let's see the causes of climatic changes. There are human causes and non-human causes. First, let's see human causes. Human causes are burning of fossil fuels and for transportation. Fumes comes out from industries and factories. Cutting down trees and activities like construction of roads and building, etc. can change the reflectivity of Earth's structure. Then it's non-human cause. Tectonic plates are main non-human causes. And natural forces like sun's intensity, volcanic eruptions, ocean currents, solar variations, and the Earth orbit changes. And so let us see what are some direct consequences. Rising maximum temperature, rising sea level, higher ocean temperature, rising minimum temperature are some direct consequences. And some indirect consequences are health risk through rising air temperature, increasing of pests and pathogens, increasing in hunger and water crisis, and economic implications of dealing with secondary damage related to climatic changes. And these all are effects and some consequences and causes. So let us see what are the solutions for these problems. Solutions to these problems are renewable energy. charging your main energy sources to clean and renewable energy, solar, wind, geothermal, and biomass would be the solution. And so the second is sustainable transportation. Our transport method must be aligned with environmental requirements and reduce their carbon footprint. It is essential to rethink our transport methods from the design stage towards eco-friendly transportation. And third one is air pollution prevention. Many methods exist to prevent, control, and reduce air pollution, in particular by reducing the consumption of fossil fuels and limiting industry emissions and waste. The fourth one is waste management and recycling. The simplest solution to reduce waste is to adopt our production methods to our consumption patterns. And the fifth one is sea and ocean preservation. Oceans and seas are the largest storage of greenhouse gases and an exceptional support system for our life on this planet. And the last one is circular economy. Uses of third R's of circular economy. We all know that what are third R's? 3 R's. They are reduce, reuse and recycle. To significantly reduce our waste and avoid unnecessary production of new items. And these are the pictures of some climatic changes. And this is the picture of industrial activities, right? Fumes comes out from industries and factories, and these are the picture of them. Friends, think and act right now so we can save our earth, present and future. Thank you. Have a nice day.
I have made a project in mathematics to display the squares of the numbers. It is a working model. Okay, when we turn this knob, it will show the squares of the corresponding numbers. This model is made using a carbon. Okay, thank you.
Trigonometry simply means the calculation with triangles. I am going to throw some light on the applications of trigonometry in real world. Trigonometry can be used to measure the height of a building. If you know distance from where you observe the building and the angle of elevation, you can simply find the height of the building. In flight engineering, the pilots use this to account for their height, velocity, speed, angle of ascent, angle of descent, and some other external forces like winds. To do this, they utilize triangles and some other structures composed of vectors. In marine biology, the biologists use this to find the distance and the angle at which the organism is from the observer. They also use this to find out how light levels at different depths affect the photosynthesis of algae. In navigation, trigonometry is used to find the exact location of a moving body or compass. In video games like Mario, the gem feature uses trigonometrical functions. In oceanography, the oceanographer uses trigonometry to measure the height of waves and tides in ocean. Thank you.
Hore Basic Thomas from class 9, and today I am going to introduce a max working model based on circle theorems. So let's get started. And this is the theorem. If 4 radius of a circle called AO, BO, OC, OD and forms 2 chords called AB and CD, the angles of AOB and COD is equal. And this is the diagram. AO is the first radius, BO second, and OC third, and OD the fourth. AB and CD is the 2 chords. I will be showing working model, and this is my working model. I hope you can see, and with a protractor to measure the angles. I had tied a thread. To avoid the confusion, I had pinned the same pin opposite to each other. Here we are taking the yellow pin as A, green as B, and the opposite yellow as C, and the opposite green as D. And now our 4 radius is formed. Now it's time to check the angles remember the theorem if the four radius from the center O as OA, BO, OC and OD and the angle AOB and angle COD is equal, and we are going to check this now. And I hope you can see the protector and the angles clearly. We can rotate and check whether forms correct or not. And now the angle is approximately 80 degree. You can see that. And now we can check the next angle. And 0 from here, and it is showing approximately 80, and hence our theorem is proved that angle AOB and angle COD is equal. And now AB, the one chord, and the another CD is the other chord. Since the angle AOB and angle COD is equal, the chords are also equal, and triangle ABO and triangle CDO is congruent to each other by S side angle side. So hence our theorem is proved.
Hi, my name is Axel Jacob Alex. Max, our day-to-day life, we use max. Max is very important. If we construct a building, we apply trigonometry. Archimedes is known as the father of mathematics. He lived between 287 BC to 212 BC. What a wonderful subject is max. Numbers are divided according to its characters. Counting numbers, odd numbers, even numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational numbers and irrational numbers. Today, I am going to explain some multiplication properties. So, today I am going to say about the multiplication properties. Commutative properties, associative properties, distributive properties and identity properties. I am going to first say about the commutative property. You can multiply the factors in any order and the product will be the same. For example, 5 into 4 equal 20, and if you turn the number to 4 into 5 and the answer will be also same. Associative property. You can group the factors in different ways and the product will be the same. If you factor a group and if you then factor it with another group, the answer will be same. For example, 3 into 4 equal into 2 equal 24. And if you group 3 and 4 in the first group and the second time we grouped 4 and 2. So the answer is same. Distributive property. A multiplication fact can be broken up into the sum of two other multiplication facts. For example, 23 into 2 equal, if we break the 23 in equal to 20 plus 3 into 2, we can multiply it with 20 into 2 and 3 into 2, so that it would be easy for us to multiply. The answer will be 46. Break into the numbers that are easier for multiplication with mental maths. Identity property. The product of any number that and 1 is that number. If we multiply any number with the 1, the first number will be the answer. For example, if we multiplied 8 into 1 equal 8, and we multiply 562 into 1, the answer is 562. Zero property. The product of any number and 0 is the number. We multiply 6 into 0 equal 0. 714 into 0 equals 0. If we multiply any number with 0, the answer is also 0. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Today I, Parvati K. Menon, student of class 10A of Bethany Academy, will be showing you a video to demonstrate the importance of use of root trainers instead of usually used polythene bags for quality planting material production in agriculture. So this is a polythene bag in which plants are usually grown, but it has its own disadvantages. That is, the roots, while growing, are forced to coil inside the polythene cover due to its even curvature, which eventually continues, resulting in poor anchoring of the root, hence poor growth rate of the plant. This is a root trainer. This can be used instead of the normal polythene cover. As you can see, the root trainer makes the plant grow its roots vertically downwards. The grooves inside the root trainer is the reason behind which the plant is forced to grow its roots vertically downwards. Another perk of using this root trainer is that the material used to make it is environmental friendly, unlike the polythene cover. Now let's see how patch budding is done. Here I'll be showing you how the patch budding of jackfruit plant is done. Patch budding is a method which requires great skill, hence only experts are preferred to do this. As you can see, the stem of the poor plant is cut so as to make room for the scion of the new healthy plant. The scion of the new healthy plant must be sliced in such a way that nothing must happen to the xylem vessels and the phloem vessels present inside it. Thus, by connecting the scion of a new healthy plant to a poor quality plant will result in the better and healthy growth of the poor quality plant. This has to be done very carefully such that nothing happens to the connection inside it, as you can see. Now let's trim it. It must be made sure that the plants are bound tightly together. Once they intermingle, the xylem and the phloem vessels will connect. This healthy plant will start supplying food to this tissue, so this would heal. See, the portion has healed. Healing process would take about 45 days, after which the upper stem is cut. The upper part has been cut to prevent apical dominance. Otherwise, this part of the plant, the upper part, will not allow another bud to sprout. Now, the new tissue has complete control over it. Here are some examples of patch budding.
Agriculture, the primary food source. Agriculture is the backbone of human existence. It is a science of growing food crops and other crops useful to men. Agricultural practices. In order to cultivate a crop, a farmer performs some tasks for getting a good yield. 1. Preparation of soil. The soil is prepared for sowing the seeds of the crop. 2. Sowing. It is a process of scattering seeds in the field for growing crops. The 3 methods are broadcasting, seed drilling, and transplantation. 3. Manuring. It is the use of manure and fertilizers. 4. Irrigation. It is a process of watering the plants in the field. 5. Weeding. It is the removal of unwanted plants from the field. 6. Crop protection. Pests are destroyed by spraying pesticides. Crop improvement. Crop yield can be improved by sowing a better variety of seeds. 8. Harvesting. The cutting and gathering of food crops after its maturation. Threshing. It is a process of beating out grains from the harvested crop plant. Winnowing. It is a process of separating grains from chaff and hay with wind. 9. Storage of food grains. It is important to store grains dry because moisture causes the growth of fungi which can be poisonous. 10. Crop rotation. The continuous use of the same land for growing crops causes severe loss in the soil nutrition. To prevent this, crop rotation is adopted. Food and Agricultural Organization. The FAO was founded in 1945. The aims of FAO are as follows. 1. To raise the standard of living of the people. 2. To raise the level of nutrition. 3. To eliminate hunger through its most important program called Food for All. 4. To increase agricultural production and distribution of food and to promote agricultural development. The 2020-21 Indian Farmers' Protest is an ongoing protest against the 3 Farms Acts which were passed by the Parliament of India in September 2020. The acts have been described as anti-farmer laws by many farmer unions, and politicians from the opposition also say it would leave farmers at the mercy of corporates. We should support our farmers. Thank you.
Hello, I am Amrita Prabhakaran, Class 10A of Bethany Academy. I am going to present the topic Types and Methods of Farming. Methods and Types of Farming. Subsistence farming or agriculture. Subsistence farming or agriculture. This farming system is being used by many farmers in India, as most of them are small-scale farmers who cannot afford high-yielding seeds and required crop fertilizers. These farmers also hold a small chunk of land and will not have any irrigation and electricity facilities. The whole family works in the field for the production of food. The entire crop is kept for their family consumption. In case if they can able to afford for irrigation and electricity, cash crops like cotton, sugarcane and oilseeds are cultivated by these farmers. In this farming system, farmers can avail either dryland farming or wetland farming depending on rainfall or irrigation facilities. In areas where low annual rainfall is recorded, crops like maize, bajra, jowar and any pulse or gram crops are grown. These crops are grown once a year. In case of wetland farming where sufficient irrigation facilities are available, farmers usually grow crops twice a year. Main features of subsistence farming. Most of the farming is done manually without any help of tools. Traditional farming methods are followed in growing crops. The crop yield expected is low. The entire crop is consumed by farmer family and commercial crop selling is not possible. Shifting agriculture. In this type of farming system, usually a small extent of forest land is cleared for growing crops. Mostly tribal farmers used to practice this kind of farming. This is done by removing dried up trees, burning tree trunks, tree branches and other weeds. Generally, farmers cultivate this kind of lands for 2 to 3 years as soil fertility goes down. After this, farmers move on to other areas and repeat a similar kind of process. Millets, vegetable and corn or maize crops are grown in this type of areas. This kind of practice is called by different names in different states in India. This is called Podu in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. Main features of shifting agriculture. The cultivation is practiced by destroying forest land. Usually the land does not involve any kind of cultural practice, including plowing. Just plant seeds are sown in the soil. This is considered as one of the bad farming methods. Plantation agriculture or farming. Plantation farming is nothing but a tree or bush farming which has been introduced by the British around the 19th century. It mostly refers to single crop orchards or crops such as tea, rubber, spice crops, coconut, coffee, lime, oranges, apples, etc. Plantation agriculture requires investment and cultivation facilities like good irrigation, modern farming methods, irrigation facilities, technical farming skills, required machinery, fertilizers and quality high-yielding seeds. Plantation farming is very useful for export business. Most of the orchards produce crops for many years. Some crops take many years to get into the harvesting stage, but these crops are worth growing as there are huge profits afterward. Plantation agriculture is mostly confined to the tropical climate. Main features of plantation agriculture. The crops are grown on huge estates. One crop farming crop requires heavy labor. The investment required is high. The modern farming method used. These crops mainly grown for commercial export purposes. Dry farming or agriculture. Dry agriculture is growing crops in drought areas where fewer irrigation facilities are available. Farmers grow drought-resistant crop varieties. This is mostly practiced in areas where average annual rainfall is low. Sometimes there may be partial irrigation in dry agriculture. You can expect lower yields in dry agriculture. Mixed and multiple farming or agriculture. What is mixed farming? Well, it is nothing but growing agriculture crops along with livestock simultaneously. Whereas multiple farming refers to growing more than one crop in the same field. Usually two different crops with varying periods of maturity are shown so that they won't compete with growth period and nutrients. This type of farming system is followed in regions where abundant rainfall is expected and good irrigation facilities are available. Permanent agriculture or settled cultivation. In this type of farming system, farmers get settled in one place to start growing crops. This is mostly practiced everywhere. Pastoral farming. Pastoral farming is the practice of rearing animals only in cold and wet climates, not ideal for growing crops. Land with steep slopes and poor soils cannot support the use of machinery nor provide the nutrients crops need to grow. Only heather and grasses can grow on this kind of land. Fish farming. Fish farming is also known as aquaculture. It is the practice of raising fish in large numbers in large tanks or fish ponds. Although farmed fish, according to Grist, have a bad reputation, properly managed fish farms are clean, sustainable and yield protein of high quality. Crop rotation. In order to increase soil fertility or fix nitrogen in the soil, multiple crops are grown one after another in the same field. Instead of growing the same crop for more than a year, this will be practiced in a fixed rotation. The completion of rotation crops depend on the type. Some may complete within the year, whereas some may complete in the following year. Gram crops or pulses are grown after the cereal crops such as leguminous crops can fix nitrogen in the soil, thus increasing the soil fertility. The selected crop for rotation depends on the soil type. Sugarcane or tobacco crops are rotated with cereal crops. Intensive farming or agriculture. What is intensive farming? Well, it is a cultivation practice where one can obtain a high yield per unit area. As farmers use fertilizers and pest control on a great extent, especially where irrigation facilities are available. They also try to sow the seeds of high yield with modern farming methods by using machinery. These factors leads to intensive farming or agriculture. In some areas, this is also known as industrial agriculture. Commercial farming. Commercial farming is practiced for the purpose of making a profit. It involves the rearing of animals and growing of crops on a large scale to increase production and profit. Technology and machinery are used with a few workers to operate them. This type of farming often involves monoculture, the growing of a single type of cash crop such as coffee. Sedentary farming. Sedentary farming involves tilling the same piece of land for many years. Unlike nomadic farming, land is used permanently for growing crops or rearing animals. With its origin in the Americas and Eurasia, the practice is believed to have started in 10,000 BC. Terrace cultivation of farming. What is terrace cultivation? Well, it is nothing but growing crops in land with slopy nature. Hilly areas are a perfect example of the system. Usually, hills and mountain slopes are cut to form a terrace. The land is being used in the same way as in permanent agriculture. With this farming system, one can prevent soil erosion. Arable farming. Arable farming involves growing of crops only in warm climate. It is practiced on gentle slopes or flat land with deep fertile soil. It is important that the land is neither too wet nor dry. Land ideal for growing crops should be fairly sheltered and suitable for use of machinery. In the UK, this type of farming is mainly adopted in the east and south. Nomadic farming. Nomadic farming involves farmers moving with their animals from one place to another in search of pasture and water. It is similar to pastoral farming and often practiced in arid and semi-arid areas. Different regions across the world rear different animals under this type of farming. They include camel, sheep, cattle, donkeys, goat and horses. As a type of subsistence farming, it provides families with food. Next is poultry farming. Poultry farming involves the rearing of turkeys and chickens for meat and egg. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, the US export about 18% of all its poultry meat. It can be practiced in large or small scale farms. However, there is increasing demand for local poultry feed on natural pasture. So these are the different types and methods of farming practiced across the world.
Hi, I'm Abel of class 10B. This is a model of a homemade incubator. It is made of cardboard, thermocol, bulb and a thermostat. This is a bulb used in an incubator. It is connected to a thermostat. A thermostat is a device which is used to maintain the temperature inside an incubator. When the temperature rises to 38 degrees Celsius, the thermostat automatically switches off the bulb, and when the temperature is reduced to 34 degrees Celsius, the thermostat automatically turns it on. A thermocol is also used in an incubator to reduce the heat loss, which is favorable for the eggs. A cup of water is also placed inside the incubator to maintain the humidity content inside the incubator. This is very cheap and simple to make. Thank you.
I am doing this experiment to prove that by using a capacitor in this electrical circuit, the generator, even after being disconnected from the circuit, spins for a bit more amount of time than when it is not connected to a capacitor. First of all, let's try working this generator using this circuit without using a capacitor. Now let's try this using a capacitor in the circuit. Of the capacitor is to store energy, and therefore when the capacitor is connected to the circuit and even after the circuit has been disconnected, the energy stored by the capacitor is used by the generator to spin for an even longer time and when the capacitor was not connected to the circuit.
Respected teachers and all our friends, today we the students of class 11 science are going to present our exhibition on the topic of magnetism. In terms of applications, magnetism is one of the most important fields in physics. In fact, it is a class of physical phenomena that are mediated by magnetic fields. In today's world, the concept of magnetism is widely used in all areas including health and medicine, electric power, computer and electronics, and even at our homes. Thus, it is necessary for us to know more about magnetism. So, we hope that our exhibition will help you to acknowledge more about it. So, let's begin.
Hi, I'm Swarma KS. I'm here to explain about electromagnetism. Electromagnetism. Electromagnetism is a process where a magnetic field is created by introducing the current in the conductor. When a conductor is electrically charged, it generates magnetic lines or folds of conductor. If current that is positively charged moving in a wire, it produces the magnetic field along the wire, and the direction of magnetic lines and force can be determined by using right hand. Now I am going to explain electromagnetism with an example. Permanent magnetic speaker commonly used in TVs and radios are perfect examples of electromagnetic devices. In order to convert electric waves into a audible sound, the speakers are designed. A metal coil is attached to a permanent magnet, and when the current is passed through the coil, it generates a magnetic field. The newly formed magnetic field is repelled by the permanent magnetic field, resulting in the vibration. The vibrations are amplified by the cone-like structure, causing the sound. This is how speaker works based on electromagnetism. Thank you.
Respected teachers and my dear friends, today I am here before you to present the working model of an electromagnetic bell. Now I'll tell about what all stuff I have used here. I have taken a switch, a battery of 9 volt, a wire for carrying the current, a magnet, and a shaft inside which a copper wire is coiled. Then I have taken a rubber band at the end of which I have tied a bolt. I have taken a bell. This shaft, which contains the copper coil, will act as the electromagnet when the current is passed. Now I will explain the working of this model. When I turn on the switch, the current will pass from the battery through this wire. The current will reach here. I have taken a magnet, and this magnet gets active, and the electromagnet also becomes active. I have kept these two in such a way that these two same poles face each other. So, as we all know, like poles repel and unlike poles attract. This too is gonna repel, and this makes this shaft to rotate, and the bolt is gonna hit on this bell. And I will show you how this works now. And
this is how it works. That's all about my project. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Agnes Sara Thomas of Standard 11 Science, and today I'm going to talk about magnetism in everyday life. We come into contact with magnets many times in the course of our daily life. They play an important role in a wide range of devices including simple toys, computers, credit cards, MRI machines, and business equipment. Magnets range in size from barely visible specks to industrial monsters weighing tons. Though some are plainly visible, others are tucked inside the inner workings of appliances and other household, medical, and commercial items doing their job silently and unseen. Computers and electronics. Many computers use magnets to store data on hard drives. Magnets alter the direction of a magnetic material on a hard disk in segments that then represent computer data. Later, computers read the direction of each segment of magnetic material to read the data. The small speakers found in computers, televisions, and radios also use magnets. Inside the speaker, a wire coil and magnet converts electronic signals into sound vibrations. In the home, most homes contain many magnets in phones, doorbells, and children's toys. Refrigerator magnets hold papers, bottle openers, and other small items to the metal refrigerator door. A pocket compass uses a magnetic needle to show which way is north. The dark magnetic strip on the backside of a credit card stores data. Vacuum cleaners, blenders, and washing machines have electric motors. Health and medicine. Magnets are found in MRIs, which use powerful magnetic fields to generate a radar-like radio signal from inside the body, using the signal to create a clear, detailed picture of bones, organs, and other tissue. An MRI magnet is very strong, thousands of times more powerful than common kitchen magnets. Another medical use of magnets is for treating cancer. Electric power and other industries. Magnets offer many benefits to the industrial world. Magnets in electric generators turn mechanical energy into electricity, while some motors use magnets to convert electricity into mechanical work. In recycling, electrically powered magnets separate metal waste from other waste. Mines use magnetic sorting machines to separate useful metallic ores from crushed rock. In food processing, magnets remove small metals from grains of food.
Hi all, I'm Aaron Bosors and I'm here to show a chart of type of magnets. Type of magnets. First, horseshoe magnet. A horseshoe magnet is a magnet made in the shape of a horseshoe or U-shape and has become the most widely recognized symbol for the magnet. It was invented by William Sturgeon. Permanent magnet or an electromagnet. The main advantage of a horseshoe magnet over other type of magnet is that the magnetic poles are close together, creating a much stronger magnetic field. Shape. The shape of the magnet was originally created as a replacement for the bar magnet. As it makes the magnet stronger over time, it becomes the universal symbol for all magnets. A horseshoe magnet is stronger because both poles of magnet are closer to each other and in the same plane, which allows the magnetic lines of flux to flow along a more direct path between the poles and concentrates the magnetic field. The shape of the horseshoe magnet also drastically reduces its demagnetization over time. Bar magnet. A bar magnet is a permanent magnet. This means that its magnetism is there all the time and cannot be turned on or off. If you bring a north pole and a south pole together, they attract and the magnet will stick together. And if you bring two north poles together or two south poles together, they repel and the magnet push each other away. Magnetic field. The lines of magnetic field from a bar magnet from closed lines by convection, the field direction is taken to the outward from the north pole and into the south pole of the magnet. The needle of the compass is itself a permanent magnet and the north indicator of the compass is magnetic north pole.
Hi all, I am Shevin Matthews Career. Let's go through some types of magnets. The term magnet is named after a Greek shepherd Magnus. Let me show you some types of magnets. This is a U-shape or a horseshoe magnet. It's invented by William Sturgeon in 1825. It's mainly used in electric generators and motors. This is a bar magnet and it's used as needle in compass. These are round magnets. and these are widely used in earphones and in speakers. These types of big round magnets are used in speakers and these small ones are used in earphones. Thank you.
Hi everybody, I'm here to give a small explanation about MRI. Magnetic resonance imaging or MRI scanning uses magnetism, radio waves and a computer to produce images of body structures. Healthcare professionals use MRI scans to diagnose a variety of conditions from torn ligaments to tumors. MRI measures the water content of different tissues which is processed by the computer to create a black and white image. The image is highly detailed and can show even the smallest abnormality. The magnetic field produced by the magnet in the scanner is 30,000 times stronger than the magnetic field produced by the Earth. Every year, approximately 10 million patients undergo MRI procedures. MRI has been shown to be extremely safe as long as proper safety precautions are taken.
Hello, my name is Abigail. I'm from 11th Science and I'm going to talk about magnetic resonance imaging. Magnetic resonance imaging, in short MRI, is a medical imaging technique used in radiology to form pictures of the anatomy as well as the physiological processes of the body. MRI scanners use strong magnetic fields, magnetic field gradients, and radio waves to generate images of the organs in the body. MRI scanners usually use a large magnet, radio waves, and a computer to create a detailed cross-sectional image of the internal organs and structures. The scanner itself typically resembles a large tube with a table in the middle, allowing the patient to slide in. Once in the scanner, the MRI technician will communicate with the patient via the intercom and they will make sure that the patient is comfortable. They will not start the scan until the patient is ready. MRIs employ powerful magnets which produce a strong magnetic field that forces protons in the body to align with that field. When a radio frequency current is then pulsed through the patient, the protons are stimulated and it spins out of the equilibrium, straining against the pull of the magnetic field. When the radio frequency field is turned off, the MRI scanners are able to detect the energy release as the protons realign with the magnetic field. The time it takes for the protons to realign with the magnetic field as well as the amount of the energy release depends upon the environment as well as the chemical nature of the molecules. During the scan, it is vital to stay still. Any movement will disrupt the images, much like a camera trying to take the image of a moving object. Loud clanging noises will come from the scanner, which is very normal. Depending on the images at that time, it may be necessary for the person to hold their breath. If the patient feels uncomfortable during the procedure, they can speak to the MRI technician via the intercom and request that the scan be stopped. After the scan, the radiologist will examine the images to check whether any more are required. If the radiologist is satisfied, then the patient can go home. The radiologist will prepare a report for the requesting doctor, and the patients are usually asked to make an appointment with the doctor to discuss the results.
Hi all, I am Abhiram of class 11 Science. So today I am gonna tell you something related to magnetic attraction and repulsion. So magnets are something that we use knowingly or unknowingly in our day-to-day lives. As you all know, magnets are used to make tight seals for doors and refrigerators. It is also used in computers and MRI scanners. It is also used in industries like mining and pharmaceutical industries. Even Apple's latest iPhone 12 series come with a magnet for safe and secure wireless charging. It has proved that we cannot live or survive in this next era without a magnet. Wherever we are using magnets, it is just because of its two main properties. They are magnetic attraction and magnetic repulsion. Let me show you. Here we have two different shapes of magnets. A magnet has two different poles. When the same pole come close to each other, they repel each other. And when the different pole come close to each other, they attract each other. Here we go. This is called magnetic attraction. Now I will show you something interesting. So here's a small toy car. and as you can see, there's a small magnet over there, and I have a magnet in my hand also. So when the different poles of the both magnets come in contact, they attract each other. Nothing happens to the car, and just it attracts. So when I take this back and when I tilt this magnet round, and when the different poles, the same poles come close to each other, they repel and the car starts moving. Hope you understand how magnetic attraction and repulsion occurs. Thank you.
I have made a magnetic car which does not need any electricity, battery or any such DC motors. I will show you how it works and what are the materials I have used to make it. This is a car which I made. I have used two magnets. One I have fixed on the back of the car and other for the control. I have fixed the south pole here and the north pole here. And for the body of the car I have used bottle. And for the wheels I have used bottle caps. And for the fixing of the wheels I have used refillers. And I will show you how it works. The magnetic car works by using the repelling power of the magnets. The one which I have placed here is the south pole, and here is when we bring the two magnets close, it moves. This is how it works.
Respected teachers and all my friends, my name is Betty Elizabeth and today I am going to present the working model of a simple DC motor. This is a simple DC motor, and this DC motor consists of a 1.5 volt diesel battery, a permanent magnet, a copper wire which is made into 10 to 12 loops, two safety pins that is connected to the positive and negative terminals of the battery, and if we look closer we can see that the insulation is removed from three sides of one end of the copper wire and all the sides of the other end of the copper wire. We have purposely left a layer of insulation on one of the sides of the two leaves. This precisely contributes the switching of current on and off for every rotation. A simple DC motor is a device that converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. When the coil is connected to the battery, current passes through it which eventually turns it into an electromagnet. This electromagnet has its own south pole and north pole. The permanent magnet placed in the vicinity of the electromagnet gives it an attractive or repulsive kick depending on the polarity of both the magnets and the coil rotates. The speed of the motor mainly depends on three important factors: the current passing through the coil, the number of the turns of the coil, and the strength of the magnet. Now let us see how this DC motor works. When we keep this magnet near to this coil and we give it a push start, the coil starts rotating. And this is my project. Hope you all liked it. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Abinci Alex. Today I am going to discuss about an experiment that how a magnet floats on another magnet. This is an experiment based on magnetic levitation. What is magnetic levitation? Magnetic levitation, which is also called magnetic suspension, is a method by which an object is suspended with no support other than magnetic fields. Here I have an experiment to discuss. Before that, we all know magnet has two poles, that is north pole and south pole, in which the opposite poles attract each other and like poles repel each other. For doing this experiment, we use wooden dowel or a pencil and some ring magnets which is mounted on a wooden board or the same size board of the wooden dowel. The condition of repulsion is used here, as we can see that there is a gap between the magnets in which the magnets faces are in like poles, which makes the magnet to pull upwards and float. Let us see how it works then. For doing this experiment, I have taken a pen which is mounted on plate and 5 ring magnets. You can see that they are attached to each other. So I am going to put one on the pen and one more. You can see the gap between the magnets. The force or repulsion makes the other magnet to float upwards. I am going to do the same process. Now you can see the gaps between all of the magnets. When we compress it also, the force or repulsion forces the other magnet to float upwards. This is a simple version of magnetic levitation. Thus, this proves that magnetic levitation has no contact between any object other than magnetic field. Thank you.
Hi, I am Jack Trigonometry. Today I am here to discuss the topic types of magnetic forces. Magnetic forces are the forces exerted by magnet on each other and other metallic substances. Magnetic force, attraction or repulsion that arises between electrically charged particles because of their motion. These are some types of magnetic forces. These green arrows indicates magnetic force. Attraction is the force between two dissimilar charges in a magnet. Repulsion is the force which occurs between two similar charges in a magnet. And for this condition, magnetic force is rotation. It is a basic force which is responsible for such effect as in the action of electric motor and attraction of magnet for ions. From this point of view, the magnetic force F on the second particle is proportional to its charge Q2. V2 is the magnitude of its velocity, and V1 is the magnitude of the magnetic field produced by the first moving charge, and the angle sin theta between the path of the second particle and the direction of the magnetic field. The force will become zero if the second charge is traveling in the direction of magnetic field, and is greatest if it travels at a right angle to the magnetic field. Thank you.
Hello everyone and welcome. My name is Edwin Josh Matthew. Today we are going to be discussing the topic of magnetic levitation. The first question that comes into our mind is, what is magnetic levitation? So, magnetic levitation is a method by which an object is suspended in the air with no support other than the magnetic field. That means the object is in a stable position without any mechanical support other than the help of the magnetic field. So here, the magnetic force is used to counteract the effects of gravitational force. That means when we are trying to suspend an object in the air, it is acting against the gravitational force which is downward. Here, the two primary issues involved in magnetic levitation are the lifting forces, which is referring to the repulsive force acting upwards, providing an upward force sufficient to counter gravity, which is acting downwards, and stability, ensuring that the system does not spontaneously or fastly slide or flip into a configuration where the lift is neutralized. That means the attractive force is acting towards this direction, and this tip provides a frictional force towards this direction, which balances the pencil in a stable mode. Here, the application of magnetic levitation in real life is shown. The magnetic levitation is used for maglev trains. It's a train that uses the property of magnetic levitation to move itself. Then, the contactless melting, magnetic bearings, and for product display purposes. Thank you.
Hello, I am Shibinzi Matthew. Today, I am going to discuss about the Earth's magnetic field. Earth's magnetic field, also known as the geomagnetic field, is the magnetic field that extends from the Earth's interior into the space where it interacts with the solar wind, a stream of charged particles emitted from the sun. The magnetic field is generated by the electric current due to the motion of conversion current of a mixture of iron and nickel in the Earth's outer core. These conversion currents are caused by the heat escaped from the core. This diagram describes about the electric current. This magnetic field, also known as the geomagnetic field, is the two distant but closely related vector field denoted by symbol B and H. In the system of unit, H magnetic field strength is measured in the SI unit of ampere per meter. B magnetic flux density is measured in Tesla, which is equally to the Newton per meter. B and H differ in how they account for magnetism. In a vacuum, the two fields are related to the vacuum permeability. These two diagrams discuss about the like and two unlike pole attraction of magnetic field.
Hi guys, I think you are fine, and now I am going to talk a few words about magnetic dipole. A dipole is an idealized system approximate description of a field created by more complex systems of charges. There are three main types of dipoles, which are electric, magnetic and current dipoles. Magnetic dipoles is an analog of electric dipole, which can be represented as a system of two magnetic charges. In fact, this analogy is debatable as from the perspective of modern electrodynamic magnetic charges that do not exist. Nonetheless, a basic magnetic dipole can be referred to as a tiny magnetic composed of adjacent positive and negative charges. Considering that a closed circuit is believed to be the original source of magnetism, as Typical example of a magnetic dipole would be a wire loop with the constant current passing through it. In this connection, magnetic dipole also serves as a source of stationary magnetic field, similar to how an electric charge is serves the function of a source of the electrostatic field.
Hi everyone, I am Febin and I am here to discuss about the types of magnetism. There are three types of magnetism. First one is paramagnetism, second is diamagnetism, and third is ferromagnetism. In paramagnetism, in a paramagnetic material, there are unpaired electrons, that is atomic or molecular orbits with exactly one electron in them, while paired electrons are required by the Pauli exclusion principle to have the spin magnetic momentum pointing in opposite direction. For example, aluminum being a diamagnetic material, when it's placed between two magnets, it twists into a magnetic field. But in case of a glass being a diamagnetic material, when it's placed between two magnets, it gets away from the magnetic field. The next one is ferromagnetism. A ferromagnet, like a paramagnetic substance, has an unpaired electron, and ferro means iron. As an unmagnetized iron is magnetized in presence of a magnetic field. As an example is shown on the left side of the chart. When a magnet is held close to an iron rod, the iron rod gets attracted to it and it gets magnetized. And when the iron rod is held towards an iron needle, the iron needle starts to get attracted by the iron rod, which means that the iron rod has become a temporary magnet, and that effect is so strong that it even lasts after the magnet is been removed from that rod.
Friends, my name is Stanley Varghese. Today I am going to share a few words about scope of magnetism in future. Maxwell showed mathematically how a changing magnetic field creates a changing electric field. Therefore, magnetism is very important because we use it to create electrical energy. In fact, most of the energy that we use today comes from rotating magnets. You already know what they are and everything about them. Magnets are crucial to many more emerging technologies than you might expect. The tried and the true magnet is about to change everything from how we drive and treat to cancer to how we play sports. Maglev trains. Lining faster trains that are using magnets like this one in Japan seen in 2010 are positioned to be the next major transportation breakthrough. Earlier this year, Japan broke a world speed record for a train 366 miles an hour. How do it? Magnets, of course. Japan used a maglev train, a special type of high-speed train that its wheels were magnets. How do the magnets help the train to go faster? It's pretty small. Friction is totally eliminated. The trains hover above the rails wheel-free. Next one is about controlling heat and sound and rods for self-driving cars. This year, scientists proved magnets can manipulate the amount of heat traveling through a semiconductor. It sounds like an X-Men subplot, but scientists have recently showed that the magnetic fields can be used to manipulate heat and sound. And what's about the driverless vehicles are currently the hottest race among the tech companies. The auto companies and startups hold the stripes, and it's becoming more crowded arena all the time. But given how accident prone, these human-free charities might be the we need to make sure our highways are ready for their widespread arrival. To believe that developments are interesting as there will be continue in the decades to come, especially its magnets are built that deliver higher fields than the available today. For instance, discoveries made using pulse fields magnets which operate at very high fields in electronics could take a research in fruitful new directions that cannot now be anticipated. Thank you and have a nice day.
Hi, my name is Scientia Matthew. The topic that I got is what is magnetism and its source. So let's see what magnetism means. Magnetism is a force exerted by magnets when they attract or repel each other. It is caused by the motion of electric charges. Now, some general things about magnets are they have two poles, a south pole and a north pole. And we also know that like poles repel and opposite poles attract. Magnetism is one aspect of the combined phenomenon of electromagnetism. The most familiar effects occur in ferromagnetic materials, which are strongly attracted by magnetic fields and can be magnetized to become permanent magnets. Now let's see some substances which are ferromagnetic The most common ones are iron, cobalt, and nickel, and their alloys. There are substances that are weakly attracted to a magnetic field, and they are known as paramagnetic substances. For example, aluminium and oxygen. The magnetic state of a material depends on temperature, pressure, and the applied magnetic field. A material may exhibit more than one form of magnetism as these variables change. The strength of a magnetic field almost always decreases with distance. Now let's move on to the sources. Under sources, we have electric currents and spin magnetic moments of elementary particles. Electricity and magnetism are fundamentally interlinked. Both magnetism lacking electricity and electricity without magnetism are inconsistent with special relativity due to such effects as length contraction, time dilation, and the fact that the magnetic force is a velocity dependent. The magnetic properties of materials are mainly due to the magnetic moments of their atoms orbiting electrons. The magnetic moments of the nuclei of atoms are typically thousands of times smaller than the electrons' magnetic moments. The magnetic behavior of a material depends on its structure, particularly its electronic configuration. At high temperatures, random thermal motion makes it more difficult for electrons to maintain alignment. I would like to end this with a fact, and that is, the most powerful magnet in the universe is actually a star called a magnetar. Thank you.
Magnetocardiography has a high performance in diagnosing the coronary diseases, and also it is non-invasive and radiation-free and has a quick testing technique to record the cardiac magnetic field with high reproducibility. So, let me conclude by saying that magnetocardiography, which is used to record the magnetic fields generated by the heart for the diagnosis of heart diseases, is a vital resource in our day-to-day life. Hope you all have understood what is magnetocardiography and what are its necessities. Thank you.
Hi friends and my respected teachers, I'm Anju Rajan and I'm here to say about magnetism. Magnetism, phenomenon associated with magnetic fields which arises from the motion of electric charges. This motion can take many forms. It can be an electric current in a conductor or charged particles moving through space, or it can be the motion of an electron in an atomic orbital. All substances exhibit some type of magnetism. Magnetic materials are classified according to their bulk susceptibility. Ferromagnetism is responsible for most of the effects of magnetism encountered in everyday life, but there are actually several types of magnetism. Paramagnetic substances such as aluminium and oxygen are weakly attracted to an applied magnetic field. Diamagnetic substances such as copper and carbon are weakly repelled. With antiferromagnetic materials such as chromium and spin glasses have a more complex relationship with magnetic field. The force of a magnet on paramagnetic, diamagnetic and antiferromagnetic materials is usually too weak to be felt and can be
Hi, I'm Jisha Mohan. Today, I'm here to give a brief description about the topic biomagnetism.
Biomagnetism. Biomagnetism is the phenomenon of magnetic fields produced by living organisms. It is a subset of bioelectromagnetism. In contrast, organisms' use of magnetism in navigation and magnetoception and the study of magnetic fields' effects on organisms is magnetobiology. The origin of the word biomagnetism is unclear, but seems to have appeared several hundred years ago, linked to the expression animal magnetism. The present scientific definition took form in the 1970s when an increasing number of researchers began to measure the magnetic fields produced by the human body. How does biomagnetism work for someone who is ill? The precise placement of high-strength magnets over specific areas of body can re-energize and balance a patient's internal pH in areas which often become overly acidic and dysfunctional in ill patients. The influence of magnetic field on living organisms, which is strong in some species, certain spirillum bacteria orient themselves along the geomagnetic lines of force. Strong magnetic fields may be detrimental to health in humans, but the effects of medium strength fields have not been studied. Magnetic fields are also used for scanning biological organisms.
Science in everyday life. The momentary continuity of this universe has been controlled by various forces and processes, of which most are unknown and few are known to the human race. The few of the facts which are known to the humans have been titled under the name science. We, the students of Class 12 Science, present before you our simple attempt on demonstrating various practical applications of science in our daily life. The curious minds of humans have enabled us to answer the questions why and how related to various phenomena and processes around us. The conclusions drawn from them and the laws based on them forms the content of science. We sincerely hope that our experiments and explanations are helpful in understanding the facts behind various life processes. Thank you.
How to make crystals using borax powder. The materials required are hot water in a glass jar, some borax powder, a spoon, a pipe cleaner and a cookie cutter. First we are going to shape the pipe cleaner using the cookie cutter into the desired shape. Now we will keep it aside. Now mix the borax powder into the hot water using a spoon. Mix the borax powder until no more borax powder can dissolve in the hot water. Now the borax powder can no longer dissolve in the water. Now we are going to put the pipe cleaner into the water. Now we are going to set it aside for about 6 to 9 hours. After about 6 hours, it will look almost like this. The crystals of the borax powder has sticked on to the surface of the pipe cleaner. The longer we keep it inside the water, the bigger the crystal will get. The reason behind the formation of crystals on the surface of the pipe cleaners is that solubility increases with temperature. When the water is heated, the molecules of the water move apart and therefore it can accommodate more borax powder in between. Whereas when the water cools, the solubility decreases as the intermolecular spaces decreases and the borax crystals can no longer be accommodated in between the water molecules. So it moves on to the next surface which is available there, in this case the pipe cleaners. And hence the crystal sticks onto the surface of the pipe cleaners as no water the space between the water molecules is not available for it. And hence these crystals are formed on the pipe.
Hi
Hi everyone. So in this video I'm going to explain the process of Miller-Urey experiment. The classical experiment of American scientists Stanley Miller and Harold C. Urey on abiotic origin of biomolecules proved the Oppenheim concept of the origin of life. They recreated the probable conditions on the primitive Earth in the laboratory. So let's get into the model. The experiment used water, methane, ammonia and hydrogen to stimulate Earth, producing atmosphere. The chemicals were all sealed inside flasks connected in a loop, with one flask half full of liquid water and other flask containing a pair of electrodes. The liquid water was heated to induce evaporation. Sparks were fired between the electrodes to stimulate lightning, and then the experiment was carried again so that the water could condense and trickle back into the first flask in a continuous cycle. They designed a spark discharge apparatus, as you can see in the video, and it is connected to a tungsten electrode connected to an electric source. They fitted to a large flask to provide energy of electric discharge, stimulating the effect of lightning. The larger flask was connected to U-tube by means of a straight tube passing through a condenser. An atmosphere containing hydrogen, ammonia, methane and water vapor was created in one chamber at 800 degrees Celsius, and condensed liquids were allowed to accumulate in another chamber. Energy was supplied by heating the liquid containing chamber as well as electric spark from electrodes in the gaseous chamber. After a day, the solution collected at the trap had turned pink in color, and after a week of continuous operation, the solution was deep red and turbid. With the help of this simple apparatus, they showed that amino acids like glycine, alanine, and aspartic acid and even more complex organic compounds can be formed in vitro when the mixture of water vapors, methane, ammonia, and hydrogen gases in a closed chamber is subjected to electric discharge for a few days. Therefore, this experiment confirmed the possibility of abiogenic synthesis of various organic compounds from reducing mixtures of simple gases.
Hello everyone, I'm Ashayan. Today I'll be showing 2 daily hacks which can be done using the materials easily available at home. I'll try my best to make these informative as well as entertaining by showing practical demonstration and giving its scientific explanation. I hope everyone likes it. For our climbing water experiment, we will take 5 transparent glasses and fill 3 of them with ordinary water. We will place 2 glasses which are not filled with water in between these 3 glasses. Now, we will color the water in the 3 glasses. As you can see, I have colored the water in these 3 glasses. I have put green, violet and purple in these glasses. I have used watercolor for coloring these waters. You may also use food color if you have it. So for connecting these 5 glasses, I am using tissue papers. Now we have to take a tissue paper, fold it in half, again fold it in half, then once more. And after that, we have to fold this half its length. Now this is going to be our bridge, our water bridge, which connects 2 glasses. Then the thing we have to do is, we have to fold it in half and then put it like this, connecting these 2 glasses. Okay. I have made some more bridges and we will connect all these together. So this is our experimental setup for the climbing water. Now I I have to explain how the water climbs from this glass to empty glasses. The thing is that the water has a force of adhesion and cohesion between them. The force of adhesion between the water molecules brings more than one molecule to stick together, and the force of cohesion between water molecules and the fibers of tissue paper will help in moving the water from these colored glasses to the water in the empty glasses. So the thing what will happen is that the colored water from these glasses will climb through these tissue paper fibers and fall into these empty glasses. In this glass we will obtain a water of color which will be a mix of green and violet. And in this empty glass we will obtain water which is a mix of violet color and purple color. The main reason for this climbing of water is a capillary action. This is the same action which takes place in roots of trees and other big plants, by which they absorb water and nutrients from the soil. This capillary action will go on and on till it becomes difficult for it to oppose gravity. So in this experiment we will see that after a few hours we can see that the water in these empty glass, water in these 5 glasses will be of same level, that is half its original volume. These empty glasses will also be filled with water. So this is the initial setup, and let's see the setup after a few hours. We have left our initial experimental setup undisturbed for 3 hours. After 3 hours you can see this. There are no more empty glasses. These 2 glasses were initially empty, but now they are filled with water. If we leave it for some more time, we can see that all these glasses will attain an equilibrium position. So in this glass we can see that this is a green water and this is violet water. But in this glass we have got blue water, which is a mix of green and violet. And in this glass we have got a mixture of purple and violet, which is pink. So I hope you all enjoyed this experiment, and thanks. I hope everyone liked our climbing water experiment. The next daily hike I am going to show you is about checking the pH level of various substances which we found around us. For this, we need an indicator. An indicator is a substance which will show a change in color when an acidic, basic or neutral substance is added to it. For doing this daily hack, we are using turmeric as our indicator. So for doing this, we have a bowl of water, some turmeric, baking soda and citric acid or lemon juice. You may also use vinegar if you don't have lemon juice. So first, to start with, we will mix some turmeric in a bowl of water. We will mix it, and to this mixture we will add baking soda. Baking soda is basic in nature, so let's see what will happen if we put a basic substance in a turmeric water. Wow, you can see the yellow color of the turmeric solution changing to red. So we will add some more to see if it becomes more reddish. Yes, it becomes a fully red solution. So we can conclude an observation from it, which is that turmeric is an indicator, and on adding acidic substance to it, the turmeric solution turns red. So let's check with acidic solution. For acidic solution I have taken citrus juice, then I'm going to add it. Wow, we can see some. Yes, some bubbles have formed, and after mixing it, yes, we have obtained a yellow solution. The red color has gone. So this shows that turmeric is a natural indicator, and on adding basic substances it turns from yellow to red, and on adding acidic substances it changes back from red to yellow. So I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
Soap is a mixture of sodium salts of various naturally occurring fatty acids. Soap is produced by basic hydrolysis reaction of a fat or oil. Currently, sodium carbonate or sodium hydroxide is used to neutralize a fatty. Then mix it well. Leave the mixture for few hours. Once it cool down, add filler to it and then pour coconut oil to a plastic vessel and then add color to it. And then mix it well. Then add caustic soda mixture to this oil vessel and mix it for 10 minutes. Then add talcum powder and mix it for 20 minutes. At last, add perfume to it. And then carefully pour it into box. Soaps are used for cleaning dirty clothes. Clothes become dirty due to the deposition of dust and oily or greasy substance. Water is not capable of wetting oily or greasy substance. When a dirty cloth is dipped into a soap solution, the hydrocarbon residue R of RCOO- ion dissolves the oily or greasy dirt and encapsulates it to form a micelles. Thus, it emulsifies the dirt by micelle formation. When the cloth is rinsed with water, the micelles get the oily or greasy dirt.
Good morning. Today I am going to show you an experiment based on the factor of temperature on diffusion. Hope you all enjoy it. Diffusion. Diffusion is the net movement of atoms, ions or molecules from a high concentration area to a low concentration area. Here I have taken the factor temperature. When it comes to temperature, the movement of atoms, ions or molecules is based on the kinetic energy of the atoms in each temperature. When we take hot water and when we drop a drop of liquid or any kind of liquid, ink or food coloring, anything, any colored liquid, the spreading of it across the molecules is faster when compared to cold water or room temperature water. When we heat water, the atoms inside the liquid absorbs the kinetic energy and the net movement of atoms across the liquid or inside the liquid and colliding to itself is faster when compared to the other two. When we drop a drop of ink into it, the atoms absorb it, and also when it comes to collide to each other faster than the two, the spreading of the ink gets faster and also hence diffusion. And we take a room temperature water.
it is a normal temperature. There is no excess heat or no excess cold in it. So the movement of atoms is normal, and it does not have, it's not moving fastly, and also it is not moving so slow. But it is moving. That is why the mixing of the ink is lower when compared to hot water. When we take cold water, it's almost near to 0 degree. Then the movement of atoms is very slow, and the kinetic energy is also very low. So the movement of ink and the mixing of ink inside the liquid is very low. Here, the general theory in this diffusion temperature is that when the atoms absorb the kinetic energy and when the movement of atoms happens fastly, then the mixing of the ink to the liquid is faster. Thank you.
Respected teachers, my dear friends, I welcome you all to this video. I am here to demonstrate one of the common phenomena that we can observe around us. It's none other than surface tension. First of all, let's look at an example. I am gonna place this paper pin over the water surface. Yes, it's done. But how can this be done? We all know that the density of paper pin is more than that of water. Probably the pin should have been sink to the bottom. But how can this be possible? Surface tension makes this possible. So, what is the reason for this phenomena? The reason for this phenomenon is due to the difference in the attractive forces acting on the water molecule in the bulk of the liquid and on the water molecule on the upper surface of the liquid. To understand this phenomena more, let's look into the vessel. The water molecule in the bulk part of the liquid is being attracted from all sides, but the molecule on the upper surface of the liquid is being attracted only from the downwards and only from sidewards. This is the basic reason which leads the upper surface to shrink and to behave like an elastic sheet or a stretched membrane. This is why when I place the paper pin over the surface, the tension the surface has is strong enough to hold the pin from going down. Thus we can say that surface tension is the tendency of liquid surface to shrink to the minimum surface area possible. But when I push near the surface of the pin sinks to the bottom. This is because when I exert a force more than the force due to the tension that the liquid surface has, the elastic membrane breaks and the pin sinks to the bottom. We can see many other incidents based on this phenomena. One of such is that some insects can walk over the surface of liquid due to this phenomena. And our water droplets got a spherical shape due to this phenomena. One important point we have to remember about surface tension is that surface tension is only applicable to liquid and not to gases. The reason is that gases have no free surface.
Hi everyone, today I am going to discussing you with the topic related to the fermentation of dough by using yeast and what are the factors related to the growth of yeast or which are helpful for the functioning of yeast with an experiment. We know that yeast is a single cellular microorganism which belongs to the domain Eukaryota and family fungi. Botanical name of yeast is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. The main aim of this experiment is to determine what are the main factors which are responsible for the growth of yeast
or helpful for the functioning of yeast in the fermentation of dough. The materials required for this experiment are 2 bowls, about 250 gram of wheat flour, water, yeast, sugar, and a vessel lid. Next is our procedure. Take half of the wheat flour in one bowl and remaining to other bowl. Add water and yeast into 2 bowls and sugar into only first bowl. Mix well and close with a vessel lid. After the strong mixing, the dough will be like this. Now please look the condition. The flour has covered the bowl all the spaces and increase in the size. From here, our observation is the one in which fermentation occurs more is the sugar added dough. Next factor is the room temperature. If we part the fermented dough in two and place one part in the refrigerator and one in the room, and if we observe, we will be getting that one which is kept in the room temperature is more fermented and the rate of fermentation which is kept in the refrigerator is less. We can conclude that sugar concentration as well as the room temperature is one of the main factors that are responsible for the growth or helpful for the functioning of yeast. The scientific evidence behind this experiment is the yeast present in the dough consumes sugar and converts the compound into ester or an alcohol by evolving carbon dioxide gas into atmosphere at room temperature. If the temperature is high temperature, the yeast will be destroyed, and if it is low, the functioning of yeast will be. From here, our observation is the one in which fermentation occurs more is the sugar added dough. Next factor is the room temperature. If we part the fermented dough in two and place one part in the refrigerator and one in the room, and if we observe, we will be getting that one which is kept in the room temperature is more fermented and the rate of fermentation which is kept in the refrigerator is less. We can conclude that sugar concentration as well as the room temperature is one of the main factors that are responsible for the growth or helpful for the functioning of yeast. The scientific evidence behind this experiment is the yeast present in the dough consumes sugar and converts the compound into ester or an alcohol by evolving carbon dioxide gas into atmosphere at room temperature. If the temperature is high temperature, the yeast will be destroyed, and if it is low, the functioning of yeast will be deteriorated.
Hi, I'm Loyal Binu. This is the structure and model of most common form of DNA. DNA stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. It consists of 2 strands to form a helix, and hence it is called double helical structure. It is held together by hydrogen bond. Each strand consists of backbone and sideward extension. Backbone is represented by alternative colors pink and yellow. In this model, pink represents phosphate and yellow represents deoxyribosugar. The sideward cylindrical extensions are nitrogenous bases. Here green represent adenine, orange represent thymine, blue represent guanine and red represent cytosine. The pink part representing phosphate, the yellow color representing deoxyribosugar and green representing the nitrogenous base. These three are put together to form a nucleotide. You can see such monomeric unit repeating in each of the strands. There are 4 nitrogenous bases in DNA: adenine, guanine, thymine and cytosine. Adenine and guanine are purines and cytosine and thymine are pyrimidines. Pyrimidines are monocyclic in nature and purines are dicyclic. Adenine pairs with thymine and vice versa. Guanine pairs with cytosine and vice versa. This is complementary pairing. It helps to maintain equidistance in both strands. So amount of adenine is equal to thymine and amount of guanine is equal to cytosine. One strand begins with phosphate and ends with deoxyribosugar. The next begins with deoxyribosugar and ends with phosphate. The 5th carbon of deoxyribosugar bonds with phosphate and 3rd carbon of deoxyribosugar also bonds with phosphate. Hence, the directionality of the strand is 5' end to 3' end. Then comes to next strand. 3rd carbon of deoxyribosugar bonds with phosphate. The phosphate is bonded to next ribosugar through 5th carbon. Hence, the directionality is from 3' end to 5' end. Both the strands are similar but they are opposite in direction. Hence, they are anti-parallel. The most common form of DNA is BD. DNA is a double helical structure held together by hydrogen bond. DNA is polymer of nucleotide. Both strands are similar but they run in opposite direction. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Praise Kodarthal of class 12 Science and I'm here to explain the working model of heart.
In humans, the heart is situated between the 2 legs and behind the sternum in the thorax. The human heart consists of 4 chambers, 2 auricles and 2 ventricles. The right atrium receives deoxygenated blood from the general circulation of the body, while the left atrium receives oxygenated blood from the legs. The ventricle are thickly muscular structures. The 2 ventricles remain separated from each other by an intraventricular septum. Course of circulation. The right atrium receives blood from superior and inferior vena cava. The blood from the right atrium then goes into the right ventricle. Then the right ventricle then pumps out its blood into the lungs via pulmonary arteries, where it is purified. The oxygenated blood from the lungs is collected into the left atrium via 4 pulmonary veins. Thereafter, the blood from the left atrium goes into the left ventricle, from where it goes to various parts of the body via aorta. The part of the circulation which involves the pulmonary artery, lungs and pulmonary veins are called the pulmonary circulation, whereas that which involves the aorta, other viscera and the veins which drain into the superior and inferior vena cava is said to be the systematic circulation.
As you can see here, this is a working model of a heart and this is a model of the legs, and from there the blood is taken by pulmonary veins to the heart, and from the heart the blood again goes to the cells. When it comes, the blood goes to the cells, and from there the exchange of gases take place and blood come back to the heart through veins, and from the vena cava the blood enters to the left atrium, then to the left ventricle, and again the blood passes through lungs and the exchange of gas again takes place, and this is a working model.
Hi everyone, on the behalf of the science exhibition today I would like to do a case study on a prehistoric species of shark that actually scared all of the species in the ocean, and it's none other than the Orchidus Megalodon. So it's a rare name, so no one has heard it, but if you heard, it's commonly known as the Meg or the Megalodon. 2018, a movie, if you're a fan of movies, you definitely have watched Meg. It's mainly about this fish and it highlighted everything about this Megalodon, but it doesn't give a brief description about it. So today my aim is to give you a rather more information about the Megalodon. So let's don't delay anything, let's go into it. So what is a Megalodon? Megalodon or Orthodox Megalodon is a scientific name meaning big tooth. So Megalodon has big teeth. Definitely we'll talk about that later. It's an extinct species of shark that lived approximately 2.6 to 3.4 million years ago. So rather people get confused that ratherly Megalodon never existed the time of dinosaurs. It's after the dinosaurs Megalodon was there, like the Ice Age. So Megalodon once ruled the ocean as it was one of the most fearsome predator of the water. Yeah, that's true. That's why I took him. I was very curious about to know more about Megalodon. That's why Megalodon was one of my greatest topics. So the next one, let's move on. Megalodon is a relative of the great one. So presently the greatest and the most fearsome shark is the great white shark. It's really dangerous and people have any precautions while going too deep down the sea due to this rare monster. And like rather years before, scientists believed that this Megalodon, this both these have some relationship. Let's see. Both Megalodon and the great white shark has the same genus, the Carcharodon. Yeah, that's true. Both sharks had the big serrated teeth and were the apex predator of their time. That's true, yeah. Presently we know that the great white shark is very dangerous and is one of the most fearsome shark ever known presently. But Megalodon at that time too is also the same. It's the most fearsome predator of that time. And people were not there all the time. But later on, scientists came to know that the main concern was that the structure and the growth patterns of Megalodon's teeth and the great white's teeth are vastly different. So, the structure and the growth pattern of the teeth. Sharks are mostly highlighted with the teeth patterns and the growth and structure. People have studied due to that fact. So, scientists came to know that they're different. So, we can't just say that Megalodon and great white shark are relatives. Yeah, the size really matters. So, Megalodon has an average size of 42 to 52 feet and a maximum of 58 feet. That's too big. Like if you have seen a double-decker bus, the London bus, that's very famous. So, Megalodon was actually bigger than that. But here's a very interesting fact that the female Megalodon is bigger than the male Megalodon, and its younger ones has a size of 6 to 7.4 feet at birth. That's actually bigger than me. I'm so jealous. But according to the nature rule is that the male is actually have much advantage than the females. But here we can see a twist that the female is bigger than the male, which indeed says that the female can be the most fearsome and the most powerful because she's big. So if you just zoom that, you can see that a man standing down there, and that means you can compare the size of a Megalodon. So we are like so small. And presently we can see that the whale shark is the biggest shark or the biggest fish ever known, recorded right now. So we can see the view, a person standing there, the great white. We can see the differentiation of the two different sizes of Megalodons and the presently the biggest fish. So just imagine the size. So let's move on. Extinction, that we want to know how this giant predator got extinct. So Megalodon was said to extinct in 2.6 million years ago, mainly due to the falling of temperature, which made the whales to migrate where they fell in short in food. Many people, many years, many scientists, the biologists were believed that this was a fact. But in 2016, it was found that it was not the case. But due to the competition, enemies like Levitation. So if you know more about the giant whales, differently, the food wasn't the case because there were plenty of food. But competition, because I don't know how to say, it was rather not a mistake, but Megalodon was fast and fearsome, but there are other enemies, like other threats to Megalodon too. As we'll come to know about that later. Why is Megalodon so fearsome and powerful predator? So, right, if anything becomes so highly highlighted, it would definitely have some advantage rather than the others. So, definitely the teeth. The teeth is the main thing. The teeth, Megalodon has teeth with a size of 4 to 5 inches long. That's big, that's strong. And Megalodon has 276 teeth arranged in 5 rows. That's like 5 rows of teeth, and there's a 276. Yeah, the 276 T is arranged in 5 rows. So in 5 rows, we can see this 276 in both high and low, the higher jaw and the lower jaw. Total is the 276 T. So just imagine the sharpness. And the next advantage of teeth is just shown the next. The Megalodon's teeth would replace within 48 hours from the time it was lost. Like it's lost. For example, when it hunts, it lost few of its teeth. Within 48 hours or 2 days, it will come back. That's a very great fact. If we had it, it would be very good. And people say that the largest tooth ever discovered was in Peru, that was 7 inches long. So people, scientists can't approximately say how big was the Megalodon. They never found more about Megalodon because the teeth was the only thing that they could find, the remaining of Megalodon. As you know that Megalodons usually of the shark species, all the shark species, the structure, the body structure, the skeleton, it's made up of cartilage. So cartilage can't last long like the bones, like we have the bones, other fishes have the bony fishes. So cartilages can't last. So scientists didn't get much remainings other than the different sized tooth of Megalodon. So let's move on. Yeah, this is another greatest fact. A Megalodon has a jaw bite more powerful than a T-Rex. That's true. T-Rex has a jaw bite or the pressure, the jaw bite, that power, it's like 12,800 pounds, where the great white shark has only 4,000 pounds. So imagine, like, if you're a fan of Jurassic Park, the movies, you can see that T-Rex, it actually played many great roles. But here we can see that T-Rex is losing with Megalodon of jaw bite. To figure out how strong its bite was, a group of biologists led by Dr. Stephen Rohr conducted stimulation, reported that the Megalodon would bite down on its prey with 24,000 to 40,000 pounds of pressure. So that's a very powerful, it would crush anything that stands between it. So just imagine the power of Megalodon. So with this information, I could readily say that, not me, but everyone says that Megalodon could easily crush a small car within a second. That's a great fact. With that pressure, I think the most powerful jaw bite ever recorded on Earth would be Megalodon's. So let's move on. Now the basic, why Megalodon so good? There would be some facts about its structure, right? Yeah, definitely there would be some facts about its structure. So let's see what all this Megalodon got. A Megalodon has a size of 17.9 meters, that is approximately 58.7 feet long. But I said to you, the largest teeth, scientists can't say the size. So next, it's a small description about Megalodon. It's a bulky torpedo-shaped fish with a conical snout, large pectoral and dorsal fin, and a strong crescent-shaped tail. So it's, actually they want to say that with that advantage, it's a big fish, that's why torpedo-shaped fish with conical snout and fins, both pectoral and dorsal fins, and a strong crescent. So with that thing, with such advantage, Megalodon moved very fast, even with that such massive size, and the weight is like, it weighed up to 30 metric ton to more than 65 metric ton. That's to, you can just imagine how many kgs it would be. It weighed so much. So with that size, with that weight, Megalodon even moved fast in the water. Megalodon's jaw span 2.7 by 3.4 meters wide, enough to swallow 2 adult people side by side. When I heard this, I was amazed. Like, on the side of its jaw, it can have 2 people can actually fit in it. So in the center, just imagine, you can guess right. In our imagination, the shark is undefeatable. Megalodon likely had shorter nose. So, definitely sharks have, some sharks, even the great white, do have point nose. But here, the picture given below is of the structure of a shark. It usually have a pointed nose, but the Megalodon usually have shorter nose, and the advantage would be, we'll talk about that later. Its bite diameter was 3 meters, that is about 9.8 feet. So it's going to bite 9.8 feet down, the below. Just imagine how much pound of flesh it could eat at a single bite, that much big. The other great fact is that generating heat through contraction of the swimming muscles. So, like modern sharks, Megalodon would have generated heat through the contraction of the swimming muscles, which actually help the shark to generate the heat all over his body and even the surrounding water. So that which is actually called a regional endothermia. It's a kind of warm-bloodedness. Yeah. So this is an ability of every shark. So even Megalodon would have, and that's maybe the reason even the Megalodon could hunt in cold waters. So there are many advantages, as we have seen, even the structure of Megalodon. So we have went through it. So let's move on to the next. Megalodon's meal. So what really this Megalodon will eat? Whales were its favorite food because fossilized whale bones have been found with the bite marks that match the Megalodon's teeth. So most probably whales are bulky big fishes, so it will have massive size, with flesh, so it would rather be every shark's favorite meal. And scientists have found many fossilized whale remainings which actually have teeth, bite marks of Megalodon, and small teeth that actually was similar to the Megalodon's teeth. So let's see how this big guy really hunts. The method of hunt. It would dive deep down into the ocean and stalk its prey from below and ram the whale at full speed, fracturing its bone, shocking the whale and thus disabling it. So it's very simple. Like if the whale, usually being a mammal, they need contact with the surface. So they actually used to move on the surface of the water. Megalodon, spotting it from at a very big distance, it would come deep, it would dive deep, and it would straightly dive down and move upwards where the whale is moving, and it would hit very hard, and that's the advantage of the nose. Rather than not even injuring itself, a small nose and the curved nose would actually give more power or the pressure to its the target, which can actually able to break its bone. So Megalodon usually should come at a great span of speed and hit its prey, and this prey would move out of the water and it would go down the other side. It would be on the other side, and thus shocking the whale. The whale would want me expecting this type of attack, or even expecting this type of fish, and it would actually fracture its entire bones. Almost a bone, especially the bone where the Megalodon would have hit in it, and rather it would be like breaking it everything, and then disabling it, and the whale can't move, so finished. Everything finished, Megalodon. So Megalodon, the other great fact is like the different whales. Presently, like the orcas and the other remaining whales, they used to, the barren whales, they go in group. But Megalodon, like the other sharks, usually go separate, like a single one, which will only move single. So thus, they don't actually have group protection, so they only minded their own business. But this is the other thing. The Megalodon faced threat and competition from the whale-eating crustaceans like Levitation. We talked about that before. and other micro-raptorial sperm whales. So what are sperm whales? So there are two types of whales actually. So, some whales have filter-like structure on their mouth that actually filter the krills, and the other type of algae, and actually that type of whale actually survived on that, filtering the water around it. Next type of whale are the sperm whales. The sperm whales or the killer whales, that sperm whales that actually hunt. So whales that actually hunt and eat. They have two. So let's talk about Levitation. Why Levitation was a very great enemy. So Levitation is an extinct genus of a sperm whale containing one species. So its name was Levitation melvillei, the full scientific name. It was a member of macro-raptorial sperm whales, whales which actually had tooth and used to hunt, maybe in pack or maybe alone. Levitation had functional enamel-coated teeth on the upper and the lower jaw, as well as several adaptations for hunting large prey. So it had very strong teeth, and it was recorded that the teeth of a Levitation was the biggest teeth ever recorded, except for exception like the tusk. Tusk is not used for eating or hunting, by the elephants. So ratherly, Leviton's teeth was recorded the most. And if in size matters, it would actually come to 42 to 57 feet or even to 60 feet long. That means there is no size competition with Megalodon and Leviathan. So actually Leviathan and Megalodon were equal to each other, and they would have had a tough time battling in the ocean. So that it could be the reason why Megalodon had to face extinction. This can be a rather big thing. So let's move on. The last and final, the reproduction and the Megalodon's nursery. So baby Megalodon at birth were the size of 6.5 to 7.4 feet. We talked about that, baby Megalodon at birth. When a mother Megalodon was ready to give birth, it would travel to shallow waters where large predators couldn't follow. There we go. Megalodon, even being such a fearsome and a bad predator to us, a scary predator, it was a good parent. It actually cared for its young ones. It should go on shallow waters where big predators can't see, vision, where there will be problem with the vision. So mainly because they go to shallow waters and give birth there. So like the modern sharks, Megalodon young one probably stay in the nurseries. So until they become a size for perfectly, they could hunt them their own, like they could face threats of their own. They would stay in the nurseries until they were fit for it. Scientists have found several of these nurseries in Calvary Cliffs of Maryland and Bond Valley region of the Florida, as well as they found baby Megalodon tooth of 1.5 inches. So when they discovered the nurseries of the Megalodon, they found baby tooth and giant tooths too. So there we can see that, like modern sharks, Megalodon too had nurseries built for it. So that's exactly how it is. So this is all about Megalodon. So Megalodon is a giant predator. It would actually disturb different other species. It would especially disturb the whale, the poor calm whales, and to kill it, eat it. It would actually be a threat if it still exists now. But on the other hand, it is also a good parent to its young one, and so that's all. So I think my case study would have helped you to know more about Megalodon, the Meg. So that's it. So I'm going to show you a small clip about what I expected Megalodon would be in the movie. Let's see that. Here you can see that it's a shot here, the Megalodon. They call it Megalodon in the movie. Okay. See, there comes the other one. So usually this Megalodon is a female and this is a male, actually they call. So that's all. Yeah. So actually in the movie people are struggling to kill it. So they only found 2 Megalodons, which are actually just a movie. But actually the movie want to express that if Megalodon really lived, it would have definitely erased many things from us. So actually, like to 95% of our ocean is not still discovered yet. So people are working on it. So it will rather be we never know if this giant still lives or not. So it's like a big confusion. So I'd rather say that I guess this would be a good information to you. So thank you everyone. Have a nice day.
Hi friends, here I am going to explain the process of photosynthesis. Plants need food for energy and growth. Green plants obtain food by the process of photosynthesis. Plants absorb atmospheric carbon dioxide and water and convert this into food, that is carbohydrate, in presence of chlorophyll and sunlight. Chlorophyll is a green pigment present in leaves. The process of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis, the process by which green plants and certain other organisms transform light energy into chemical energy. During photosynthesis in green plants, light energy is captured and used to convert water, carbon dioxide and minerals into oxygen and energy-rich organic. What is photosynthesis? Photosynthesis is the process by which plants, some bacteria, use the energy from sunlight to produce sugar, which cellular respiration converts into ATP, the fuel used by all living things. The conversion of unusable sunlight energy into usable chemical energy is associated with the actions of green pigment chlorophyll. Most of the time, the photosynthetic process uses water and releases the oxygen that we absolutely must have to stay alive. We can write the overall reaction of this process as 6CO2 plus 12H2O in the presence of sunlight, C6H12 O6 plus 6O2 plus 6H2O. Mechanism of photosynthesis. During PS, chlorophyll molecule traps solar energy and gets oxidized. When light falls on the chlorophyll, the energy present in the photons is absorbed by the chlorophyll molecule. This energy pushes an electron in the chlorophyll molecule to a higher energy level. This electron from chlorophyll is transferred to an electron acceptor. As a result, chlorophyll gets oxidized by losing an electron and the acceptor gets reduced by accepting the electron from the chlorophyll. Thus, the energy present in the photon of the sunlight is used to eject an electron from chlorophyll. This is the basic mechanism by which solar energy is trapped. Friends, let me conclude. Thank you for listening.
How to remember the integrals of trigonometric functions. So first, we have to remember this box. Sec x tan x, cosec x minus cosec x cot x. Integral sec square x, that is sec x, that is sec square x. And left over is tan x. Therefore, integral sec square x dx is equal to tan x plus c. Integral cosec square x dx. Cosec x, that is cosec square x. Therefore, cosec square x is equal to, and left over is minus cot x is equal to minus cot x plus c. Integral sec x tan x dx is equal to sec x plus c. How it comes? Sec x into tan x and left over is sec x. Integral cosec x cot x. Cosec x cot x. And the left over is minus cosec x. Integral cosec x cot x dx is equal to minus cosec x plus c. Integral sin x dx is equal to minus cos x plus c. Integral cos x dx equals sin x plus c. Integral sec x dx equals log sec x plus tan x plus c. Integral cosec x dx equals log cosec x minus cot x plus c. Integral tan x dx equals minus log cos x plus c. Integral cot x dx equals log sin x plus c. These are the tricks to remember integrals of trigonometric functions.
everyone, I'm gonna share some interesting myths of maths. Let's see. First point is, men are better in math than women. Research has failed to show any difference between men and women in mathematical ability. Men are reluctant mates. They have problems and they express difficulty with math but saying, I could do it if I tried. Women are often ready to admit inadequacy and say, I just can't do math. The second point is, math requires logic, not intuition. Few people are aware that intuition is a cornerstone of doing math and solving problems. Mathematics always think intuitively first. Everyone has mathematical intuition. They just haven't learned to use or trust it. It is amazing how often the first idea you come up with turns out to be correct. The third point is, math is not creating. Creativity is as central to mathematics as it is to art, literature and music. The act of creation involves diametrical opposites, working intensely and relaxing, the frustration of failure and elation of discovery, satisfaction of seeing all the pieces fit together. It requires imagination, intellect, intuition and aesthetic about the rightness of things. The fourth point is, it's bad to count on your fingers. There is nothing wrong with counting on fingers as an aid to doing arithmetic. Counting on fingers actually indicates an understanding of arithmetic, more understanding than if everything were memorized. And also, it is an interesting fact. Let's do the fifth point. Math requires a good memory. Knowing math means that concepts make sense to you and rules and formulas seem natural. This kind of knowledge can be gained through rote memorization. And a bonus point for you guys. The sixth point is magic key to do math. There is no formula, rule or general guideline which will suddenly unlock the mysteries of math. If there's a key to doing math, it is in overcoming anxiety about the subject and in using the same skills you use to do everything else. Seventh point is math mind. Some have math mind and some doesn't. Let's see, what is it? Belief in myths about how math is done leads to a complete lack of self-confidence. But it is self-confidence that is one of the most important determining factors in mathematical performance. We have yet to encounter anyone who couldn't attain his or her goals once with emotions blocks are removed. An eighth point is, math is done by working intensely until the problem is solved. Solving problems requires both resting and working intensely. Going away from a problem and later returning to it allows your mind time to assimilate ideas and develop new ones. Often, upon coming back to a problem, a new side is experienced which unlocks the situation. And ninth one is, mathematicians do problems quickly in their heads. The ability to obtain approximate answer is often more important than getting exact answers. Feeling about the importance of the answer often are a revision to early school years when arithmetic was taught as a feeling that you were good when you got the right answer and bad when you didn't. Best way to do math problems. A math problem may be solved by a variety of methods which express individuality and originality, but there is not a best way. New and interesting techniques for doing all levels of mathematics from arithmetic to calculus have been discovered by students. And the last, the final point is how you got the answer. It's 11th point. Getting the answer to problem and knowing that how the answer was derived or independent process. If you are constantly right, then you know how to do the problem. There is no need to explain it. So let me conclude my words. By overcoming anxiety, working intensely and with self-confidence, we are able to crack math. So thank you.
The interesting number arrangement and the mathematical secrets of Pascal's triangle. First, let me give you a fine introduction of this. To much of the western part of the world, this is known as the Pascal's triangle, after the French mathematician Blaise Pascal. Actually, it is full of patterns and secrets. First and foremost, it starts with 1. And imagine there are invisible zeros on either side of this 1. Now add them together in pairs and you will get the next row, that is 0 plus 1 you will get 1 and 0 plus 1 you will get 1 again. Now put imaginary zeros on either side of this one to get the next row.
and add them up. You will get 1, 1 plus 1, 2, then 1 plus 0, 1, 1, and do that again. Do that again and you will get a pyramid. 6, 4, 1. Now let's see 5 interesting number arrangement in Pascal's triangle. Number 1. If you sum up each row, then you will get the power of 2. For example, if the first row has 1, so 2 raised to 0 is 1. When you sum up the second row, you will get 2, that is 2 raised to 1. If you sum up the third row, you will get 4, which is 2 raised to 2. Likewise, it goes on. This is 8, 2 raised to 3, this is 16, 2 raised to 4, and you will get the powers of 2 accordingly. Number 2. If you read the numbers from left to right, then you will get the power of 11. For example, the first row has 1, that is the power of 11, 11 raised to 0. If you read the second row, that is 1, 1, that is 11, you will get the power 1, 11 raised to 1. If you read the third row, you will get 121, which is 11 square. If you read the third row, if you read the fourth row, you will get 1331, which is 11 raised to 3. Likewise, it goes on. Number 3. Pick up a number. Here I take number 4 and draw a hexagon around it. Now you will get some numbers rounding that 4 hexagon. Here I get number 1, 3, 6, 10, 5 and again 1. Take the alternate numbers, that is, here the alternate numbers are 1, 6 and 5. 6, 5. And the next alternate numbers are 1, 10 and 3. 1, 10 and 3. Now just multiply it. You will get the equal sum. Here this product is 30 and here the product is 30. And you will get the equal sum. Number 4. Look at the diagonals. The outer diagonal, you will get the odd ones. The next diagonal, you will get the positive integers. That is 1, 2, 3. Likewise it goes on. Positive integers. And like this. The next diagonal, you will get the triangular numbers. The next diagonal is this one, and just these 2 diagonals, and just stack them together. You will get a triangular numbers. Now taking up the next diagonal, that is this one, you will get, and stack them together, you will get the tetrahedral numbers. Number 5. Pick up a 1 somewhere on the ends. I will take this one and just go down diagonally near at any point. Going down diagonally, and now add these numbers together. It is 10 plus 6, 16 plus 3, 19 plus 1, 20. Then the sum of these numbers will be the number on the opposite diagonal. That is this one. Similarly, you can take the next diagonal, this one,
Now the sum of these diagonals is 35, which is opposite to 20. Now let me tell you the mathematical secrets of Pascal's triangle. Each row corresponds to the coefficient of binomial expansion of the form x plus y the whole raised to n, where n is the number of rows. If I take n equals 2, then the expansion will be like x square plus 2xy plus y square. Here, the coefficients of these variables are 1, 2 and 1, which will be the same number in the second row of Pascal's triangle, that is 1, 2 and 1. If you take n equals 3, then you'll get the number third row's number. It is 1, 3, 3 and 1. Pascal's triangle can also be used to form Sierpinski's triangle. It can be used to calculate probability and combinations in domain of combinatorics. It can also be used to form Fibonacci numbers. To sum up, the patterns in the Pascal's triangle are a testament to the elegantly interwoven fabric of mathematics, and it's still revealing the fresh secrets of this day. Thank you.
8 minutes and 20 seconds to reach the light from the sun to the earth. The detailed study of calculation of distance between sun and the earth was written in the book Hanuman Chalisa, which was written by Tulasidasa 4 centuries ago. It is believed that in one of these verses of Hanuman Chalisa, Tulasidasa had given an accurate calculation of distance between sun and the earth. There is much a simpler way to calculate. So now I am going to show the calculation of distance between sun and the earth.
We know that velocity of the light v is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second, and the time taken to reach the light from the sun to the earth is 8 minutes and 20 seconds. So we have to convert this minute to seconds. So we multiply this 8 by 60. That becomes 480 seconds plus 20 seconds. That is equal to 500 seconds. The common formula is v is equal to d by t. We want to find the distance between earth and the sun. So d is equal to v into t. That is equal to 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second into 500 second. So this second and this second gets cancelled. So that becomes 15 into 10 raised to 8 into 10 raised to 2 meter. That is equal to 15 into 10 raised to 10 meter. So we have to convert this meter to kilometer. So we divide this number by 1000. That is equal to 15 into 10 raised to 7 kilometer. That is equal to 15 crore kilometer. So this is the distance between the earth and the sun. Thank you.
Hi everybody. Children and adults around the world love gazing at the stars, so I have taken my topic as Zodiac constellation. Aries, the golden ram. On the smaller end of the scale, Aries occupies an area of 441.39 square degree and coming in 11th position in respect to size. As the story goes, a golden ram was gifted to Nephil, the king of Cronos' first wife, by Zeus. The ram acted as a protector to her two children. Of the two, the boy Phryx survived while his sister Helle fell to death from the ram's back when it was flying them to safety. In revenge, Phryx sacrificed the ram and hung its fleece in Colchis. Zeus later placed the ram's likeness up in the heaven, from whence the constellation of Aries arose. Taurus, the legendary love story. Taurus occupies an area of 797.25 square degrees and is the sixth largest zodiac constellation. This zodiac myth is one of unrequited love, where Zeus fell in love with a Europa while she was playing by the seashore. Not wanting to approach her directly, he transformed himself into a beautiful white bull. Europa, who was fascinated by the bull, was eventually swept away on its back into the sea. Zeus took Europa as his lover and placed the bull in the heaven as a sign of love, strength, and Gemini, the inseparable twins. Gemini occupies an area of 513.76 square degree and is the eighth largest zodiac constellation. This zodiac sign is linked to the actual story of the inseparable warrior brothers Castor and Pollux. Despite one brother being divine and the other mortal, they loved each other dearly. So when Castor died in battle, Pollux implored his father Zeus to let him die as well. Touched by his deep love, Zeus reunited the twins and set their divine souls among the stars, believed to be the constellation of Gemini. Cancer, the slaying of the giant crab. Cancer occupies an area of 505.87 square degree and it is the ninth largest zodiac constellation. The constellation of Cancer was born from Zeus' queen Hera's hatred for Hercules. Envious of his exploits and numerous envious tales, Hera sent a giant crab to kill him. Hercules, however, slayed the crab easily, and Hera in turn placed the crab's image among the stars in honor of its Leo, the Herculean task. Leo occupies an area of 946.96 square degree of northern hemisphere and is the third largest zodiac constellation. As punishment for crimes committed as a young man, Hercules was given the task of completing 12 near impossible feats. The first of his 12 labors was killing of Nemean lion, a task he accomplished with bare hands. The spirit of the lion was then placed in the sky, where it has known symbolic of this zodiac sign. Virgo, the mark of a goddess. Virgo occupies 1294.43 square degrees of area of the southern sky. It is also the second largest of all the constellations and it is the largest zodiac constellation. The constellation of Virgo stems from the destruction brought about from the legendary Pandora's box. When demons were unleashed from the box to torture humanity, all the remaining mortals departed for the heavens. Astrea, the goddess of virtue and daughter of Zeus, who was the last to leave, is believed to still watch from the night sky, hoping to return to earth. Libra, the god and goddess of justice. Libra occupies an area of 538.05 square degree and is the seventh largest of the zodiac constellations. The scale of justice associated with the constellation of Libra is considered to be symbolic of the Greek pantheon goddess Dike. Known for her fair judgment, she was often depicted with the scales. Egyptian myth tells another story of the underworld god Anubis, who would wait the souls of the dead and send them to heaven. Scorpio, the legend of the giant scorpion. Scorpio occupies an area of 496.78 degrees square and is the 10th largest of the Zodiac constellation. The Scorpio zodiac owes its legend to the fall of Orion by a giant scorpion. Having incurred the wrath of the goddess Artemis for his impudence, Orion met his death from the mighty sting of a giant scorpion sent by her. Artemis reversed the scorpion for doing her bidding and gave it a place in the heaven. Sagittarius, the story of the Ark. Sagittarius occupies an area of 867.43 square degree and is the 5th largest of the zodiac constellations. The archer in the Sagittarius story of the archodic sign is the heroic finger of Chiron, a kind and gentle centaur with the upper torso of a man and the lower body of a horse, was accidentally shot at with a poisonous arrow by Hercules. Being immortal, he couldn't die, but his agony was unbearable. Prometheus, the Titan, took pity on him and rid him of his suffering by making him mortal. Zeus then afforded him a resting place in the heaven where he represents the Sagittarius constellation. Capricorn, a Babylonian legend. Capricorn occupies an area of 413.95 square degrees and it is the smallest of the zodiac constellations. This is one zodiac which predates Greek mythology. Capricorn sea god with the body of a goat and a tail of a fish is believed to be the image of the Babylonian deity Ea. Aquarius, the water bearer. Aquarius occupies an area of 979.8 square degrees. It is the 2nd largest of the zodiac constellation and the 10th largest of all the constellations. The story behind this group of a star is that of Grand Menini, a young prince admired for his looks by the gods and mortals. He was brought up to Olympus by Zeus to be his official cupbearer. Forever honored by Zeus, he was given an eternal place in the heaven as the constellation of Pisces, an arthropodal story. Pisces occupies an area of 889.44 square degrees and is the 4th largest of the zodiac constellation. The last of the zodiac, Pisces, is believed to be the image of Aphrodite and her son Eros. When under attack from the evil creature Typhon, Aphrodite and her son took the form of a fish to discuss themselves. In kindness and gratitude to the twin fish who lent them their form, she placed their image in the night sky.
How it works. So in this video I'm going to show you the science behind it. My name is Miller-Urey. Everyone knows what a refrigerator is, but not everybody knows how it works. So in this video I'm going to show you the science behind it. My name is Miller-Urey. Now let's begin the video without any further ado. Before refrigeration, keeping food fresh wasn't that easy. In those days, people used to add salt to their food or bury it in the snow to keep food fresh. But the invention of refrigerators changed the way we preserve food. Thanks to William Cullen, this piece of technology can easily keep our food fresh. Now let's find out how this thing works. Refrigeration is actually a simple thing to understand. Just keep in mind, when liquid evaporates, it absorbs heat. When liquid condenses, it releases heat. A refrigerator uses 5 major components: an expansion device, evaporator coils, a compressor, condenser coils, and a refrigerant, aka coolant. You may recognize this from the back of a refrigerator, especially old ones. It is the condenser coils. Inside the fridge, connected to the condenser, is the evaporator coil. A gas called coolant is circulated from the evaporator to the condenser. A modern fridge uses tetrafluoroethane as the refrigerant. This coolant actually moves heat from the inside of the insulated cabinet to the outside. Because of the difference in temperature and pressure, the coolant keeps transitioning between liquid and gas and back again. These pressures are balanced by a compressor located usually at the bottom of the fridge and an expansion device. The coolant passes from the expansion device, and as it moves through, the sudden drop in pressure makes it expand, cool, and turn into gas. As the coolant flows around in the evaporator coil, it absorbs and removes heat inside. The compressor squeezes the coolant, raising its temperature and pressure. It's now a hot, high-pressured gas. The coolant then flows through the condenser coils on the back, radiating heat to the atmosphere and cooling back. When it releases heat into the ambient air, it condenses under high pressure, turning most of the refrigerant into liquid. This is why warm air rises from the back of a fridge, and inbuilt fridges need air vents top and bottom. The hot coolant gets cooled back into the liquid and gets back into the expansion device. The expansion device or metering device is a device constricting the tubing between the high pressure condenser and a low pressure evaporator. As the coolant re-enters the evaporator, this sudden decrease in pressure causes about half the liquid to evaporate explosively, and the process continues. So basically, heat is constantly picked up from the inside of the fridge and taken outside. So the cycle repeats. A thermometer inside the fridge measures the temperature and turns on the compressor when the temperature gets too high. And yes, it's the compressor sound that you hear when you open the door. That's it, folks. Thank you for watching the video.
Friction is defined as the resistance offered by the surface that contact with each other when they move each other. Friction works in opposite direction, in which the bodies slow down. Friction is useful most of the cases. Friction is also dependent on external factors. Factors affecting friction: on the nature of two surfaces that are in contact, on the forces that is acting on these surfaces. Types of friction: static friction, sliding friction, rolling friction, and fluid friction. Causes of friction: friction is caused due to the interlocking of irregularities between the two surfaces in contact. Smooth surfaces have minute irregularities between the two surfaces. Rough surfaces have longer irregularities between the two surfaces, so the force of friction is more if the surfaces are rough.
Hello friends, now I am going to explain the mechanism of bird's flight in a simple way. Through years, man have been fascinated and intrigued by the ways of flight of birds. It is very interesting to study the psychology and performance of birds in scientific principles. Birds use the same four forces of flight as airplanes use to fly. In order to create thrust, birds flap their wings as they push through the air. The air pushes them forward and up, generating lift and thrust. According to a principle of aerodynamics called Bernoulli's law, fast-moving air is at lower pressure than slow-moving air. So the pressure above the wing is lower than the pressure below, and this creates the lift that powers the plane or the bird upward. There are four forces of flight of a bird. They are lift, thrust, drag, and weight. There are three types of flight. First one is gliding flight. In gliding flight, the upward aerodynamic of force is equal to the weight. Second one is flapping flight and third one is bounding flight. And also shape of the wing is important in determining the flight capabilities of a bird. And at last, there is the main importance in a bird's flight thing. It is the tail of the bird. It helps the bird to navigate through the air and control its speed, which is very important part of the bird. Even when the bird is tired, it helps the bird to glide through the air. And thank you for hearing.
Hello everyone, my name is Ansa Sarajan and I am here to present one of the mysterious things taking place in the world and the reason behind them. Let's get into it. Are you afraid of the water bodies? If you don't know swimming and still want to get into the water bodies without the help of swimming tubes, then there is a way for you. And of course, it's not magic, it's the Dead Sea. Dead Sea sounds interesting, right? Dead Sea is a saline lake which borders Jordan to the east and Israel to the west. It's 306 meter deep and it is the deepest hypersaline lake in the world. Why Dead Sea is called so? Due to its high salinity, no life can exist in Dead Sea. Aquatic organisms like plants, other fishes, animals, etc., they cannot live in the Dead Sea. They will die there, except some of the microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, etc. So, the Dead Sea is called so. The most interesting feature about the Dead Sea is that nothing can drown in it. Everything floats over it, including humans. Isn't it amazing? Right? There is a logic behind it. Let us understand this mechanism through an experiment. For this experiment, we need 2 glasses of water and 2 lemons. And I am putting one of the lemon in one of the water and the other in this one. See, there is a difference in both of them, right? In this glass of water, the lemon sinks down, but in this glass of water, the lemon is floating. Isn't it amazing, guys? I will tell you the reason behind it. Before that, I have to tell you that in this glass of water, I have put some salt. So, this is the salty water and this is the normal water. Now I will tell you the logic behind it. When an object is fully or partially immersed in a fluid, then the object will displace some of the fluid to make space for it. And here, the lemon has displayed some of the water molecules to have the space for it. And a force equal to the weight of the fluid displaced will act on the lemon in the upward direction. And that force is called buoyant force. The buoyant force is directly proportional to the density of the liquid. Normal water has low density and so the lemon will experience low buoyant force. So the net force acting on the lemon is in the downward direction and so it makes the lemon to sink in this water. Whereas in the salty water has high density due to the salt particles in it and therefore the lemon will experience high buoyant force and so the net force is acting in the upward direction and not in the downward direction. So this makes the lemon come to the surface and floats over it. This same mechanism is happening in the Dead Sea. That's why people or any other objects floats over the Dead Sea.
Hello everyone, my name is Roshan Rezi. Today I am going to explain the working of wind turbine.
The conversion of wind energy to mechanical energy has been in use as early as 5000 BC by Egyptians to propel boats. Wind turbine is a device that converts wind's kinetic energy into electrical energy. It consists of 3 blades mounted to a steel tower and is placed 100 feet or more above ground. When wind blows, a low pressure pocket forms on one side of the blade and pulls the blade towards it, causing the rotor to turn. It is called lift. The force of the lift is stronger than wind's force, which is called drag. The combination of lift and drag causes the rotor to spin. On top of the turbine there is a nacelle, which houses gears, rotor and generator. The gears increase the rotation from 18 revolutions to 1800 revolutions per minute. The generator converts their mechanical energy to alternating current. The turbine has a controller which prevents the rotor from exceeding its speed limit, and it protects it from damage due to high speed winds. Large number of wind turbines are grouped together in wind farms, which produces large amounts of electricity. China has the world's largest onshore wind farm. India is also on the road of improving its capacity to harness